Extermatech Pest Control is a small, passionate, and powerful team. If you have bugs bugging you, join the Extermatech family and have peace of mind that comes from the expertise of a professional company and enjoy their personal service. Extermatech is locally owned and operated. They've been bugging the competition for over 15 years. Each and every customer is important to them. Customer service, their number one goal. Call Extermatech 334-209-4590. If you're injured on the job, the law requires your employer to pay your medical expenses and cover your lost wages for any work-related injury. Employers and their insurers often try to deny workers' compensation claims or limit your benefits. Whether you're totally disabled and cannot work, or if you've suffered some impairment, attorney Matt Matthews has years of experience litigating. For more information, go to the website protectingalworkers.com. That's protectingalworkers.com.
Montgomery's new at-work station is 96.1 KISS FM. The biggest and best playlist and long sets of non-stop music. 96.1 KISS FM. Just the music you know and love. Montgomery's new at-work radio station.
It was 1917. Charlie Chaplin appeared as the Little Tramp, Walt Disney graduated from high school, and Woodrow Wilson was reelected president. And in Montgomery, Chris's sold their very first hot dog. Move forward to the 1950s. Hank Williams was hanging out at Chris's. Up through the 70s and 80s, many stars and politicians discovered Montgomery's little secret. Jump ahead to the new millennium. Riverwalk Stadium, the alleyway, and the new downtown. It's now 100 years later, and Chris's is still serving their world-famous hot dogs at 138 Dexter Avenue. How long has it been since you've tasted the city's most famous hot dog? Make Chris's part of your family history. Still family-owned and operated, Chris's makes every hot dog and hamburger to order. Take Chris's to your next party or event. Call-in orders are welcome. Online at chrishotdogs.com and on Facebook. Chris's Famous Hot Dogs. Taste the tradition.
Experience the history of the first country music superstar and see how Hank Williams transformed country music and sowed the seeds of what was to become American music. Visit the Hank Williams Museum, nestled in historic downtown Montgomery, Alabama. The Hank Williams Museum is one of the top tourist attractions in Alabama. Museum hours are 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, 10 to 4 on Saturday, and 1 to 4 on Sunday. And they offer group rates, AAA, and military discounts.
And welcome back to the Hank Williams Museum pregame show here on the Montgomery Sports Network, where tonight Montgomery Catholic is playing host to Tallassee. My name is Kane Young. I'm here with Travis Jerome. Good to have you along, Travis, here for the 2019 football season.
I appreciate that and look forward to quite a few good football games, not just tonight, but a few all the way down the line.
So this is the first of 11 weeks of football here for us on the Montgomery Sports Network. Our title sponsor this year, once again, is Extermatech Pest Control, a locally owned and operated. Extermatech Pest Control is a small, passionate, and powerful team voted the best in Montgomery. If you have bugs bugging you, call Extermatech. They have been bugging the competition for over 15 years. Call 334-209-4590. We'd also like to thank the attorney Matt Matthews of protectingalabamaworkers.com. Workers' compensation attorney Matt Matthews has many years of experience litigating workers' compensation cases in Alabama. If you are hurt on the job, he can help you get the benefits you deserve. Visit protectingalabamaworkers.com or call 334-721-4878. We'd also like to thank the Hank Williams Museum. This 6,000 square foot museum is located at 118 Commerce Street in downtown Montgomery. You can take a step back in time and learn about the musical history and life of a Montgomery man who is known as the legendary singer and songwriter Hank Williams. Browse the large gift shop. Groups are always welcome at the Hank Williams Museum. Of course, Chris's Famous Hot Dogs back with us again here for the 2019 season. Chris is celebrating its 102nd year in business here in the capital city. Located just steps from the state capitol at 138 Dexter Avenue. Chris's Caters have Chris's Hot Dogs at your next meeting or event. Chris's Famous Hot Dogs taste the tradition. Call orders in advance 334-265-6850. We'd also like to thank Mid-State Burglar Bars and Ironworks. Mid-State Burglar Bars and Ironworks is a local owned and operated business. They have been in business since 1985 and serve Montgomery and the surrounding counties. Mid-State builds and installs burglar bars, AC guards, hand railings, fencing, storm doors, and more. Make sure to check out the decorative handrails, a true work of art. Call Mid-State at 334-313-9015. And we'd also like to thank Mac the Camera Guy Photo Booths, MacTheCameraGuy.com for all your photo booth needs for weddings, receptions, proms, etc. Check out MacTheCameraGuy.com. And here's Travis with the rest of our sponsors.
La Zona Rosa Mexican Cafe, located at 2838 Zelda Road, minutes from downtown Montgomery, is one of the area's finest Mexican restaurants. Check out their great build-your-own lunch and dinner selections and updated menus. Make La Zona Rosa your choice for authentic Tex-Mex and Salvadorian cuisine. Open Monday through Saturday. Call 334-274-1153. Delta Printing and Sign Company. Delta Printing and Sign Company opened in 1979 and is still local and family-owned. As a second-generation business, they have stayed true to their roots. They get to know their customers and take pride in helping meet their printing needs and stay within their budget. Their goal is the same now as it was when they first opened, to provide a quality product at a competitive price, a company with exceptional customer service. So remember, no matter what it is, when you need signs, printing, direct mail, let Delta do it. Call 334-271-COPY. And our media partners, the stations of Blue Water Broadcasting, News Talk 93.1, Kiss FM 97.9, Jams, Bama Country 98.9, Yo 100.5, Classic Country The Possum 104.9, The Gump, and 107.1 The Vault. They are local folks helping local business. Call them today and let them help your business. 334-244-0961. A big thank you to all of our sponsors. We couldn't do it without them. Please support all of the sponsors of the broadcast.
So we're here on the Montgomery Sports Network, Week 1 of Alabama High School football. Montgomery Catholic, number 6, Class 4A, playing host to Tallassee, making the drive here into the city this evening. Normally we start kickoff at about 7 o'clock. Those who have followed us last year, tonight's game has been pushed back to about 7:15 kickoff. As we were driving in here, we've gone from about 93, 94 in the afternoon to the high 70s thanks to some afternoon thunderstorms here. Still very dark off in the distance right now, so weather could be a factor. We'll get into that a little bit more here as we get into the keys of the game in just a moment. Travis, just talk a little bit here about the game matchup. Tallassee, traditional powerhouse in the area. Montgomery Catholic kind of rising up here the last 3 or 4 years. We should have a very good matchup, competitive games this evening.
Tallassee has always been a power. They've had a couple of years here and there where they haven't been as strong, but Mike Battles has done a very good job of getting that Tallassee program back where it was and contending for state championships. And they'll push Catholic a little bit tonight. And really, if you go back and look, they should be the favorite no matter who's on their side of the ball because they beat Catholic last year 28-7. But then you turn and you look at Montgomery Catholic. This is a team in a 4-year stretch that's had the best 4-year stretch in school history under Aubrey Blackwell in his 5th year. You win 10 games 2 years ago and you go two years of 8 wins. He's built a solid program, but if you ask him, he's not going to take the credit. He deflects it to his staff. He deflects it to his student athletes. He deflects it to the administration of the school. And he is big. He said when we had a chance to catch up with him yesterday, he said it's not about wins and losses. It's about what we do in the community. And those of you that have not been out to the campus, they built a brand new gymnasium, state-of-the-art gymnasium. And he said that's all because these kids get out in the community, not just football, but everybody. So it'll be a good game tonight. It'll be tough. And really, I mean, we'll hit on it again, but we're watching in the distance, and you see the lightning popping, hopefully with outside that radius. So we'll see what happens.
So we're about a half hour here from kickoff, so we'll take a moment here to look at our keys to the game for tonight here on the Hank Williams Museum pregame show. We're going to start with the visitors from Tallassee. First key tonight for Tallassee, the Tigers, talk about their youthful offense as they are going to start a freshman under center this evening.
They're going to start a freshman under center. Don't let that fool you, though, because the way Tallassee runs their offense is the good old Notre Dame box. He may be under center, but he's going to have 2 backs in the backfield with him, and those are their 2 returning starters on offense. But the biggest key to that is what Coach Blackwell said. He said, 8th grader, freshman, sophomore, junior, it really doesn't matter. I was at St. Paul's and had one of the best freshmen in the state in Jake Coker, and look what he ended up doing as a high school quarterback and later on in college.
And that freshman quarterback is expected to be number 13, Tyler Ellis, this evening. Also, several sophomores starting on the offensive line for Tallassee, as we'll get into during the course of the contest. The second key tonight for Tallassee is going to be leaning on that defense. They have a lot of experience, especially in the back seven.
In the back seven is where they're really, really experienced. Their front 3-4 are really going to be tested tonight, and we'll tell you why when we get to Catholic. But that back seven is going to have to get some reads, and the biggest key for both of these teams is there's no film, because got a freshman quarterback, and then what we'll talk about with Catholic later. But those back seven are going to be challenged for Tallassee tonight.
And the leading tackler last year for Tallassee returns linebacker number 2, Tavarius Griffin, had 58 tackles last year for the Tigers, so look out for him in the middle. And the third key tonight, which we touched on just a moment ago, the weather. I would think if we had done this broadcast about an hour ago, we've been talking about hydration and cramps and all that, but the temperature has cooled down significantly. It's rained. The field has drained pretty well here from where it was about 30 minutes ago, so obviously the weather conditions are going to be a factor tonight for the Tigers.
And it will, especially with that freshman quarterback under center. It all goes back to the first key we talked about. How does he handle the turf? How does he handle the wet football? He really didn't get tested last year because he didn't have to play, and he was on the JV squad. But how does he handle the weather? Not just everybody on the team is really going to be in his hands.
Have to wonder. I used to coach. I know you used to coach. I used to, if I knew it was going to rain, I'd take the ball and get it wet and put it in a bucket before games. And here we've had virtually no rain the last several weeks. We're almost in drought conditions here, so you have to wonder how wet football is going to affect these teams tonight.
No rain over, I would say, the last 3 weeks. It's been 100 degrees for about 7 or 8 consecutive days. And so now what do? You go from 100 degrees to wet football, wet turf, and Tallassee's been hanging out in the locker room not knowing really where they're at or what to do. But the weather is going to affect both teams. It's going to affect Montgomery Catholic just like it's going to affect Tallassee.
Okay, and for the Montgomery Catholic Knights, we'll look at their keys to the game. First key tonight for for Catholic is going to be to stay focused.
Coach Blackwell, it was very adamant about when we talked to him. He said, most coaches will say, hey, we're just going to come in. We need to bounce back from what happened last year. No, he said we've labeled this as a revenge game, but there's a lot of festivities going on around tonight's game, so they've got to stay focused, not get caught up in everything that's going on, and just remember it's still a football game. Last year was last year, this year was this year, and those were his words. Yeah,
Tallassee a winner at home last year in the opener 28-7 over Catholic. Second key tonight, talk about execution for the Knights.
Execution is going to be a big key because they're going to go and they're going to run a new offense. You're going to see an offense that you're not going to see anywhere else in the state of Alabama. Georgia Southern played in the Camellia Bowl this past December. Coach Blackwell had his staff down there. They watched it. They loved the offense. They went to Georgia Southern to Statesboro and learned that triple option attack. But he said they're going to run it out of the spread, so it's going to have that different look to it. So it's going to look like they're running a spread offense. But he said they have to execute because you put a brand-new offense in, you've got to be able to get the plays.
And the third key tonight for Catholic is going to be experience. A lot of starters, a lot of guys that have played key roles in last year's success returning for the Knights.
A lot of starters back, and he was real high on his starters that are coming back. They got the experience. He's got some guys that are big in size, small in size, but he said their experience. He said they've even got experience that wasn't here last year that's here. They added a new offensive lineman, Chase Little, a 6'6", 310 guy that's going to play on the inside. And then T.J. Dudley, a 4-star that just got his 4-star, was a magnet school kid and transferred in, had to sit out because of the transfer kid. We'll get to see him play for the first time.
So we're just about 25 minutes or so from kickoff. Pre-game festivities still taking place here at Catholic. So we're going to take a quick time out here on the Hank Williams Museum pregame show. We'll be back here in just a moment on the Montgomery Sports Network.
Experience the history of the first country music superstar and see how Hank Williams transformed country music and sowed the seeds of what was to become American music. Visit the Hank Williams Museum, nestled in historic downtown Montgomery, Alabama. The Hank Williams Museum is one of the top tourist attractions in Alabama. Museum hours are 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, 10 to 4 on Saturday, and 1 to 4 on Sunday. And they offer group rates, AAA, and military discounts.
I had a dream, a beautiful dream. I couldn't believe how real it seemed. Up on stage, in the field of green, on the winding river, and a song you'll sing. When I wake up, I'll see you here in Montgomery, where dreams come true.
And welcome back to the Hank Williams Museum pregame show here as you're watching the Montgomery Sports Network. We're just about 25 minutes from kickoff, getting a little late start due to the weather between Catholic and Tallassee. You can follow us here on the Montgomery Sports Network on Facebook. Go on Facebook, like us there. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at MyMGMSports, or you can go to our website and watch us at mymgmsports.com. A lot of avenues for you to keep up with us this year. We have archive games from last year. You can find highlights, replays, and all that. So find us at mymgmsports.com. As we have a quick moment on the field here, pregame ceremony. So we'll kind of listen into that for just a moment.
Kevin was named the 2016 Charles T. Harvin Distinguished Service Winner for his tireless service to our school. Kevin was not only part of our athletic program, he was also instrumental in setting up the audio for our graduation exercises on the football field over the past years. He truly shared his talent with all. We are proud and happy to honor Kevin with this dedication and know that his spirit will always be a part of the MCPS family.
And that was a ceremony on the field. Travis, you can fill us in a little bit more as to what ceremony took place there for the Knights.
Kevin Ryan was a longtime worker in the press box. He basically spotted every home football game for Zach Azar, the public address announcer who's still here. Those were his two children on the field. Kevin passed away not too long ago, so they dedicated the press box and actually named the press box after Kevin. So that was it's an honor you want, but sometimes it's an honor you don't want because of what happened. But his kids are here. You've got a lot of the Catholic community out tonight. All of the priests are going to be here because of it's the first game, but because of that as well.
Okay, so we're about clock moving down to about 23 minutes here from kickoff. We'll talk a moment here about our coaches in tonight's matchup. We're going to start with the visitors from Tallassee. The head coach, Mike Battles, in his 8th year at Tallassee, 55-26 with the Tigers. Has been coaching for 23 years. Had a lot of success at Bibb County several years ago, 46-6 in 4 seasons there. 5 region titles to his resume. Comes in with a 172-81 record overall in 23 years. Last year, though, unlikely scenario. Tallassee lost out on a tiebreaker. Didn't make the playoffs for the first time in a long time. I think it was a decade, if I'm not mistaken. So Tallassee obviously trying to get back in that playoff picture that they missed out on last season.
And if you really want to turn to a guy that can turn a program around, it's Mike Battles. He's been there. He's turned programs around everywhere he's been. He's either inherited a bad program and turned it around, or he takes over a program that has some experience and then they lose it and then they have a down year. Last year was a little bit of a different story, I think, for Tallassee. They had an injury at quarterback. They had to take their best athlete from his position, which I believe was a wide receiver, had to bring him in and play quarterback. So then you take somebody the quarterback can throw it to and rely on, put him under center, and then he basically has to run the football because he has nobody to throw it to. So that had a lot to play into it. But Coach Battles will get them turned back around, and he'll get that program headed back where it's going, and he's in a perfect spot to do it at Tallassee.
Yeah, Tallassee plays in 5A Region 2. Actually one of the few teams in the state to have a winning record and not make the playoffs last year. As you follow Alabama high school football, a lot of teams win the right combination of games in region play and sneak in. Tallassee, unfortunately, last year lost out in tiebreaker, finished 6-4 and 3-3 in their region. Montgomery Catholic, led by Aubrey Blackwell in his 5th year, 30-15 overall. Won a region championship 2 years ago, which was the first in almost 3 decades for Catholic. They won playoff games each of the last 2 years. Catholic has only had 5 playoff wins in their entire school history, which is over 70 years, I believe, playing football, and Coach Blackwell accounts for 40% of those wins in the last 2 seasons.
Coach Blackwell comes from a good pedigree. He played at Lee High School. He's coached under Jimmy Perry, coached at St. Paul's, coached at St. James. When they made a move here at Montgomery Catholic, they brought him in. The rumor on the street was that he was too young when he was at St. Paul's to really be a head coach. That's why Jimmy Perry brought him up to St. James. Aubrey Blackwell comes from a good pedigree. He knows the game of football. He understands it. But what we talked about earlier when we were talking about keys to the game and in the pregame, he will not take the credit. he's going to give the credit to Kirk Johnson, his associate head coach, also the defensive coordinator, and his entire staff. Every year he's had to replace 3 coaches because they move on because of the success of the program.
And last year we had Catholic here playing at home against T.R. Miller, one of the true blue bloods of Alabama high school football. And if you told someone going back in the DeLorean and time machine 5 years ago that Catholic was just going to run over T.R. Miller in a high school football game, they would have called you crazy.
And he's dead. He says that when 2 years ago when they won, they had all the city schools included, and then they had PCA on the schedule. All those schools dropped them, so they played the Tallassees, the Beauregards, the Anistons, the T.R. Millers, and all the other schools in between. But he says, and he goes back to it, it's the culture change. The first year it was, we've got to change the culture. Second year we got to get the guys to believe the culture. Third year it took off. When they won 10 games, he was just and he's disappointed in the finish last year, and he'll tell you that. Kind of what Coach Battles will tell you, he's disappointed. But I don't know how you can be disappointed with a program that hasn't been successful, and you win 8 games and you make it to the playoffs again.
Yeah, Catholic last year defeated Holtville in the first round, went up to Tuscaloosa, took on American Christian in the second round, lost 10-3 in a contest up there. They would like to advance a little bit further this year. They come in here with a very lofty number 6 preseason ranking, so it obviously tells you that the media around the state is paying attention to what's happening here out on Vaughn Road. So the Knights have returned a lot of players. They returned their quarterback, Christian Ivey. They returned some of their running backs, Darryl Gibson, who had 9 100-yard games last year for the Knights. Last year against Tallassee, Gibson accounted for 18 carries and 79 yards. Ivey last year threw for over 1,200 yards and 15 touchdowns, so a lot of experience returning in the backfield for Catholic.
A lot of experience returning in the backfield for Catholic, and again, it's one of those things. You've got a quarterback, you've got a guy that ran for 1,900 yards in Gibson, but the 2 guys that Coach Blackwell really loves, and he told me to make sure I told everybody that was watching and tell you, is his 2 guys on the outside with this new offense. He said those are probably his 2 best athletes. They're 2 basketball players. They can throw it up and they can do whatever.
And for Tallassee, comes in here, as we talk about, a little inexperience on the offensive end. Coach Battles, they've had a lot of good workouts according to the summer. They have to replace their top passer from last year. They had some injuries, but they have a lot of experience on defense. Could be a game where we see so much hurry up, get to the line, snap it quick. I almost feel like coming into this contest, it may be beneficial for Tallassee maybe to burn some clock and lean on that defense a little bit and shorten this thing up.
And it's what we talked about earlier. Neither team has film. Tallassee doesn't have film on what Catholic's going to do, so if they've watched film from last year, they have no idea. Catholic has no film on Tallassee because it's a freshman quarterback. So as coaches, you're really flying blind. You have to worry about yourself in this game, and if it may be one of those things where Coach Battles, if Catholic gets the ball first, he goes, hey, you know what, this is something new. We've got to make adjustments. So we need to make the adjustment and let our offense dictate the pace of that game. But that defense, that back 7, if they can read this offense, Catholic will be in for a dogfight again on it.
And by all counts, both teams had good summer workouts. Catholic went up to Clanton, had a good OTA with Chilton County late July. Tallassee's had a lot of good workouts this summer, so both teams prepared here to get ready to go and get this 2019 campaign underway. So we're going to take a time out here on the Hank Williams Museum. We're just about Hank Williams Museum pregame show. We're just about 18 minutes from kickoff. You're watching the Montgomery Sports Network.
Extermatech Pest Control is a small, passionate, and powerful team. If you have bugs bugging you, join the Extermatech family and have peace of mind that comes from the expertise of a professional company and enjoy their personal service. Extermatech is locally owned and operated. They've been bugging the competition for over 15 years. Each and every customer is important to them. Customer service, their #1 goal. Call Extermatech 334-209-4590. If you're injured on the job, the law requires your employer to pay your medical expenses and cover your lost wages for any work-related injury. Employers and their insurers often try to deny workers' compensation claims or limit your benefits. Whether you're totally disabled and cannot work or if you've suffered some impairment, attorney Matt Matthews has years of experience litigating. For more information, go to the website protectingalworkers.com. That's protectingalworkers.com.
Montgomery's new at-work station is 96.1 KISS FM. The biggest and best playlist and long sets of nonstop music. 96.1 KISS FM. Just the music you know and love. Montgomery's new at-work radio station.
It was 1917. Charlie Chaplin appeared as the Little Tramp, Walt Disney graduated from high school, and Woodrow Wilson was reelected president. And in Montgomery, Chris's sold their very first hot dog. Move forward to the 1950s. Hank Williams was hanging out at Chris's. Up through the 70s and 80s, many stars and politicians discovered Montgomery's little secret. Jump ahead to the new millennium. Riverwalk Stadium, the alleyway, and the new downtown. It's now 100 years later, and Chris's is still serving their world-famous hot dogs at 138 Dexter Avenue. How long has it been since you've tasted the city's most famous hot dog? Make Chris's part of your family history. Still family-owned and operated, Chris's makes every hot dog and hamburger to order. Take Chris's to your next party or event. Call-in orders are welcome. Online at chrishotdogs.com and on Facebook. Chris's Famous Hot Dogs. Taste the tradition.
Experience the history of the first country music superstar and see how Hank Williams transformed country music and sowed the seeds of what was to become American music. Visit the Hank Williams Museum, nestled in historic downtown Montgomery, Alabama. The Hank Williams Museum is one of the top tourist attractions in Alabama. Museum hours are 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, 10 to 4 on Saturday, and 1 to 4 on Sunday. And they offer group rates, AAA, and military discounts.
And welcome back to the Hank Williams Museum pregame show here on the Montgomery Sports Network. Montgomery Catholic playing host to Tallassee. We're just under 15 minutes from kickoff, getting a little late start due to the weather early on. Starting to clear up a little bit here compared to what it was about 30, 45 minutes ago. Field has drained pretty well. If we had come on the air about an hour ago, you would have had the sidelines full of puddles, but it's drained pretty good. Looks like there's a pretty decent crowd on the field also, as we'll get ready for kickoff here in just a few moments. As always, here on the Montgomery Sports Network, you can follow us again on Facebook. Go to our Facebook page, like us there. You can go to our website, mymgmsports.com. Our full schedule is there. All our sponsors are there. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at mymgmsports, so you can get replays from past games, the highlights, or you can follow us live. If you got somebody at home and you're in the stadium elsewhere, you can watch a game at the same time whether you're watching somewhere else. So weather playing a little bit of havoc here early on as we'll get started in just a few moments. Notice the officials are still down in the corner, just checking out, potentially looking for lightning or anything off in the distance. Usually if lightning is seen, we have about a 30-minute delay. And those of us here on the Montgomery Sports Network know all about that because last year we had about 2.5-hour delay up in Clanton when Chilton County was playing host to Sylacauga. So we'll take a moment here to look at the schedules just briefly. Tallassee 5A come in here, Region 2. They, of course, they're in Montgomery here tonight against Catholic. They go to Hanley next week, and then they go to Greenville in Week 3. So 3 straight road games here to start the season for Tallassee.
And the way the high school works is you schedule teams every 2 years. So Tallassee was a lucky team last year. They got 3 home games in a row. Now they get 3 on the road. And when you're young, that might help, honestly, to get them away from the home crowd for a little while and try to build some team unity and get some experience without all the excitement going on around with all your students and all your family around.
And Greenville won their region last year. They've been pretty dominant the last several years at the 5A level, a lot of success. As for Catholic, they, of course, hosting Tallassee this week. They go on the road to Anniston before they start getting into region play with Dale County and Alabama Christian Academy and Trinity later on down the road. Catholic dominant here last year at home, 6-0 playing here. And they've had a lot of support, good crowd. Tallassee's going to bring a good travel crowd tonight here. They always follow their teams very well. So we'll have a very festive atmosphere this evening.
And, some very well-known coaches have always said, win your games at home, mixing a couple wins on the road, especially at this level, and you're looking at 8 wins, maybe 7 wins, depending on how many home games you have. But you win your home games, you're pretty much setting yourself up for an exciting run through the end of the year. And the key word for both of these teams, last year was Catholic was rebuilding a little bit. Now it's Tallassee rebuilding. Tallassee was looking towards that state championship last year. This year it's Montgomery Catholic, and that's the word you hear around here when you come around. They want to get to that state championship game, and they feel like they can. And Tallassee can get there too, especially with their region the way it's lined up.
And Catholic very close to winning another region title last year. Last game of the season against Headland, lost on the road 34-29. They hosted the playoff game as the number 2 seed, defeated Holtville 41-13 before losing to American Christian out of Tuscaloosa in the second round. Tallassee, as we mentioned earlier, missing the playoffs for the first time in about a decade, trying to get back in there. They lost the tiebreaker, which we've seen that in several other areas. Teams with winning records not get in. Baldwin County was 7-3 the other year. Go back several years ago, Jess Lanier was 7-3 in a region. They didn't make the playoffs. It happens every once in a while, and Tallassee was a victim of that last season. Crowd filing in here. The weather has cooled down considerably. We said this about 30 minutes ago when we came on the air. I was driving down here today, 93, 94. I sat in the car to let the storm pass through. It was 78 when I finally got out. Dodged some raindrops and some lightning bolts making it here to the press box. So it's cooled down significantly compared to what these players have worked out in the last few weeks. And
I'll tell you what, the weather, you would think we'd come in here, and especially after warm-ups, you would see the field just absolutely torn to shreds. The field is in great shape. And, you know, it's one of those things this side of town, if people are from around this area, they know about this side of town. It's all prairie soil from the bypass down, and Aubrey Blackwell and his staff have done a great job. And, you know, and before they do the national anthem, I'll say this. He has a dad crew, is what he told me, with 15 people, and they were out here working on this field. And he said if they wouldn't have been here, none of this would have happened. So it looks like a good shape. It looks like a fast track also. The drainage is pretty good. There's a crown in the middle there, so the water has drained off rather fast with as much rain as we just took here. About 5:30 to 6:15 or so. It was just raining cats and dogs here with a lot of lightning intermittent. Here in East Montgomery. Montgomery Catholic, for those of you unfamiliar, located just outside the bypass on Vaughan Road on the east side of Montgomery. So the weather is starting to clear up. And this is not the only game delayed. Some other games in the area also delayed. Stanley Belmore playing host to Chilton County. That game's been pushed back to 7:30. So several games being monitored here by the weather. We still see the head official out here watching the skies closely as the scoreboard clock is under 10 minutes here. Towards kickoff, neither team has emerged from the locker rooms at this moment yet from their warm-ups. Okay, and I'll say this for the folks at home. We're in the press box. If you look straight ahead where we are, there's rain. You look to the left where we are, there's rain. There's a patch of about, mile and a half probably that the sun is trying to peek through the clouds. And I'm hoping that's what's coming this way because I know St. James is going to get what we get, and they're hosting Bayside tonight. And to the south of us here, pretty clear at the moment. The wind has died down. It was very windy here about 45 minutes ago. So we're going to listen in here for the national anthem here by the Catholic Band. We'll listen into that here in the next moment, and we'll get back in just a second.
For our opening game of the 2019 season between the Tallassee Tigers and your Montgomery Catholic Knights. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask you to please rise, and gentlemen, remove your caps for tonight's invocation, followed by the playing of our country's national anthem, performed by the Marching Knights. Tonight's invocation will be given by Archbishop Thomas J. Rhodey.
Dear God, our Father, we ask your blessing upon these two great schools, Tallassee Tigers, Montgomery Catholic Knights. We ask you to bless their bands and cheerleaders, their students and fans, and their teams. Protect the teams, all those who played this evening, from all harm, all injury. May their play be to the best of their ability, and may the way they play give you honor and glory. In all things, Father, be with us. Guide us every day of our lives. Help us to know that all our abilities and all our blessings come from you. We ask your blessing upon all of us, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen.
So tonight's national anthem performed by the Catholic band as we are about 6 minutes from kickoff. Teams slowly emerging from the locker rooms, but during the national anthem there were a lot of flashes off in the distance, so we'll see how that plays out here in just a moment. Head official, the White Hat, has walked out here to the 50-yard line, so the Tallassee is making their way out to the end zone to our south on the right side, and Catholic's still standing by their locker room at the moment off to the north here to our left. So just about 5 minutes here from kickoff. Once again on the Montgomery Sports Network. You've been listening and watching the Hank Williams Museum pregame show here on the Montgomery Sports Network. Follow us again on YouTube. Montgomery Sports Network, search us out. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at MyMGM Sports. Go to Facebook, like our page there. You can go to our website at mymgmsports.com and find all the action there as the captains are starting to make their way out into the field. So, Travis, basically, you got a surprise offense. Do you want the ball to start the game if you win the toss, or you want to hold that in your back pocket for a few more minutes?
You know, the way Coach Blackwell talks, he's high on his defense, he's high on his offense, and he's got a guy that he wants to see on the field early, and T.J. Dudley to get him on the field a little bit. But then offensively, how long do you want those guys to sit around and watch a series with Tallassee going and bring it out and get the crowd behind you? And that maybe, if I'm Catholic, I'd take the football if I win the toss, because then you get the crowd behind you because they don't know what you're doing. Tallassee doesn't know what you're doing, and see what happens.
And if you can get a lead, put some pressure on the inexperienced offense for the Tigers, might ramp up things here, especially playing under the lights for the first time. And you're going to have a huge crowd here. We saw a lot of local TV stations here in the pregame, so crowd filing in here despite the rain earlier here in East Montgomery as the captains make their way out for tonight's coin toss. And Tallassee, where they're all white tonight, look a lot like LSU when they come out in the field. Catholic's going to be in the all black. Looks like, again, this evening. I just can't get over how the weather's cooled down. I brought my sweat towel. I was ready to go here. And I saw people with jackets on. I'm telling you, about 45 minutes ago, I was like, I might need a windbreaker on. It was so windy, but it's virtually no wind here at the moment.
Well, luckily for you, you got here when you did. I got here, and as soon as I opened my door, the heavens opened up, and it started lightning all around me. So I just closed my door, waited on an opportunity, and ran for the tent and sat there for about 45 minutes.
So captain's out there. Look at the toss. Looks like Catholic has won the toss. And they are going to defer. So looks like Tallassee will receive the kickoff, and we will see that youthful offense get a first crack of the football here this evening.
And then we go back on that. We were talking about maybe choosing the ball first. Maybe Coach Blackwell knows and wants to put the pressure on that freshman to start and see what happens. But, again, he has come out and said it doesn't matter what year he is. He's still a football player, and I've seen some great players as freshmen. So we'll see what happens. And, as you look off in the distance, maybe you want to take the ball first and see what happens, because if you can score and then it becomes a slop fest out there on the field, you never know what happens.
And as you know, in today's age, like you mentioned about the freshmen, we see at the college level, freshmen step in, win national championships, get starting jobs at SEC schools. Can't be the same thing here at the high school level as Catholic comes out to the smoke. Making their way to the near sideline. Tallassee winner from the far sideline and run through their banner. As we are just about 2 minutes here from kickoff on the Montgomery Sports Network. Good atmosphere here for Catholic. We experienced that last year, and this is almost a similar game. T.R. Miller came up here, good travel crowd. Traditional school came in here. We saw Catholic jump on them early, get a lead. T.R. Miller could never find the end zone that night. In fact, they hardly even got in the red zone. They tried 3 long field goals, only connected on one of them. And Catholic controlled that game from start to finish. But of course, they had a very good defensive lineman person that ended up going to Indiana. So that's one player they have to replace this year as Catholic get ready to kick things off. But as you said, Coach Blackwell, he likes his defense. He expects them to still be able to carry a good portion of the load.
And I'll say this, it's a home game for Montgomery Catholic. Tallassee travels well, good crowd here for Montgomery Catholic. The big question mark and the big equalizer right now is the pushback time. It's given Tallassee a chance. They've had to sit around. Montgomery Catholic has now had to sit around. So these teams have been here for a while. They both have been sitting around for a while. Now we'll see what happens.
So kicking off for Catholic will be number 16, Michael Russo. Tallassee still huddled up over there as the clock has been reset now to 12 minutes. New rule this year in Alabama high school football. See how, like the college and the NFL game now, 40-second play clock instead of 25 seconds. So we'll see how that affects things here as the night goes on. It's probably the biggest rule change we have going into the 2019 season.
And the good thing about that 40-second play clock is it automatically starts as soon as the referee puts it down. So as an offense, you've got to be ready. It's not like you have a full 40 seconds. You're getting up off the football, and by the time you get up, you could be down to 31 or 30 seconds on that play clock.
So Daniels back deep along with Smith and Hutchinson. And it's taken at the 5-yard line for Tallassee. And a nice return that time out to about the 24. Number 14 in the return is going to be Smith for Tallassee. Be 1st and 10 for the Tigers. We had a Tallassee game 2 years ago against Elmore County. They ran a lot of I formation that night. Had a fullback. We don't see a lot of fullback in football anymore, but they had one, and he had a good bulk of the carries that night. So we might see some of that this evening here for Tallassee. They're going to come out. Looks like initially a T set and then switch up. And there was some movement there before the snap.
Straight to the Notre Dame box. I guess Coach Battles was trying to catch Catholic off guard. But everybody that knows Coach Battles knows he lines up in that Notre Dame box and goes. And this is what you expect. You expect teams to jump around a little bit, especially in the season opener. They'll get the jitters out a little while. Both teams will. You'll see Tallassee do it as well when they go on defense. You might see some offensive linemen do it. It's just getting all the summer workouts out of the way and getting all the excitement of being on the field.
So 5 yards offside against Catholic as we see some lightning off way to the left of us here on the north side. So 1st and 5. It's going to be an inside handoff. Working over to the left side there is going to be Daniels on the carry for about 4 yards. Bring up 2nd down and about 1 for the Tigers.
Good play call there for Tallassee. You get in a 1st and short position, so you go from 1st and 10 to 1st and 5, but Catholic stayed home, read the play on the inside handoff, and was able to get them on a short gain.
So 2nd and 1. And this time coming to the near side is number 1, Williams. He's going to move the pile forward across the 35 to about the 38, 39-yard line for 5 yards and a 1st down.
Tallassee gives it to their big back, and he takes it to the outside. You would expect him to run up the middle. But again, Tallassee right now has neutralized that defensive line of Catholic and really neutralized the front 7 on the first 2 plays. And you see defensive backs coming up and having to make out and help make the tackle.
So in and out of the huddle here pretty quick as Tallassee shifts again. And this time it's going to be number 14 on the carry. That's going to be Smith. Gets across the 40 for a short gain of about 2. Bring up 2nd down and 8.
And here's the thing with the Notre Dame box for those at home. When you line up in the Notre Dame box, you put maybe one guy out or you bring everybody in, you don't have any receivers. You allow the defensive backs to walk up, and essentially you go from a 4-3 or a 4-2-5 to basically almost like a 6-4 with one guy back deep. You have 2 linebackers that walk up, become defensive linemen, and then your safeties walk up and become linebackers.
Last play, gain 3. This time mass substitutions for the Tigers. They're going to run motion here. And coming to the near side as Catholic has that sniffed out pretty good on the little handoff. So number 3, Daniels, will bring up a 3rd down and about 4 situation for the Tigers. Thomas on the tackle for Catholic.
Jalen Thomas did a good job of reading that from his safety position, able to come up. Tallassee had the blockers, but Catholic outnumbered them as they brought everybody over on the rotation. They read the play perfectly. And this is what Coach Blackwell was talking about. Set the tone with your defense. Now Coach Battles is going to have to come up with something on a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5.
So 3rd down and 4 at the 45-yard line as the clock goes to 9.5 minutes left here in the first quarter. Again, shotgun for the Tigers. And Ellis going to look to pass, and he's dropped way behind the line that time. That is going to be Mr. Dudley making the tackle for the Knights, and it's going to bring up a punting situation for Tallassee.
So you got a freshman quarterback, his first pass attempt, and then you got a guy at linebacker that hasn't played football in 2 years, and a perfect blitz call for Catholic. And I think that may be why they decided to take defense on the side to put the pressure on Tallassee to begin with.
So it looked like he was shot out of a cannon that time. The 4-star linebacker for the Knights lost a 10 on the play. It's going to bring up 4th down. Back deep is going to be Nathan Downs for the Knights. And now we have a whistle and a stoppage. Looks like an equipment issue.
You got the late substitution running on. He didn't have his chin strap buckled up. And what we talked about with the motion and getting all the jitters out, you're going to see a lot of personnel issues, too, when you try to line up for punts. You try to line up for field goals, extra points. You're going to have guys forgetting that they're on those teams. It happens at every level. And you'll see guys sprint on, and he didn't have his chin strap buckled.
Dalton Lanier on the punt for the Tigers. Kick is away. Not returnable for the moment. And falling on it is going to be Nathan Downs back at his own 24-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Catholic Knights and their offense. The new look offense for the Knights.
And I'm glad you're doing play-by-play for this one, because with this triple option attack, they're gonna look like they're in the spread, which we talked about at pregame. It's going to test these back 7 for Tallassee. They're going to have to control things. Let's see how they react to seeing the offense. See, it's a spread look, but you've got that triple option in the backfield.
Ivy, the quarterback for the Knights, on 1st and 10. Going to hand this one off to Gibson, working left side, out to about the 27, 28-yard line on 1st down for a gain of about 4.
Big-time play for Tallassee up the middle, and even making their presence felt as well on that interior line, as the defensive lineman for Tallassee just took one of the players from Catholic, offensive lineman, pushing 5 yards back in the backfield.
So Gibson in the backfield with Watley, with Ivy. No tight end, 3 receivers. Ivy's going to hand this one off again, and this time Gibson is met head-on that time by Tallassee, number 6, making the initial contact there, Ledbetter for the Tigers.
And again, we talked about it, linebackers key for Tallassee against this offense. You know, it's one of those things where Catholic's still trying to figure things out. Tallassee's still trying to figure things out on their offensive end. This could end up very well a 3-0 ball game at this rate.
So 3rd down and 5 for the Knights on their own 29. Ivy going to look to put it up in the air. Rolls right. They're going to throw it far side over there. It's a jump ball situation. Some contact. And I think it was incomplete. But it looks like there's a flag on the play, and it's going to be interference against Tallassee.
We talked about it pregame. Coach Blackwell said, we're just going to throw it up to those 2 basketball players on the outside. He said, watch their athleticism, watch how we utilize them. He goes right to him on the first pass attempt, and all Christian does is just throw it straight up in the air. But, again, that's that style offense. You'll see a short pass coming in a little bit, and then Tallassee's linebackers have got to stay home on that. If they don't, that play will be open later in the game because you saw one-on-one coverage.
Looking for DJ Carter, the junior wide receiver out there that time. So the 15 yards and a 1st down for the Knights. Butler offset to the near side here at the bottom of the screen with Watley and Gibson in the backfield. Going to run an option to the right. Ivy pitches it to Gibson late, and a nice job out there by the defense for Tallassee stringing it out. Number 11 going to clean up the mess over there for the Tigers, Jacob Wester. Loss of 1 on the play, bring up 2nd down and 11.
And you can see that defensive line engages those offensive linemen, allows those linebackers to get down the line. Then you have a safety or cornerback that sneaks up and is able to help pressure the football as well. But this is one of those, when you're in the spread on this kind of offense, you take the fullback out of the equation. And that's what works so well for Georgia Southern, is they have a fullback that can sneak it in.
So 2nd and 11. Hand this off to Gibson. Right side has some room over there as he moves across the 45 and is stood up at the 48-yard line. Again, making the play that time, number 6, Ledbetter for Tallassee, and bring up third down and about 6 for the Knights.
First drives for both teams. First drive really for any team. They're trying to find weaknesses in your defense. If they score, great. If you don't, it gives you an opportunity to see what may work later in the game. 6 minutes gone by in this, and both of these teams are still filling each other out.
Third down and 6 at the Catholic 48 for the Knights. Ivy got to look to throw. Looks right again. Throws it out there. It's going to go off the hands of his intended receiver a little bit high. He's going to bring up fourth down for the Knights. And we have a timeout. So we're going to have our first heat timeout of the evening. As we'll have that at the 6-minute mark of each quarter here tonight. So we're going to take a quick timeout. You're watching the Montgomery Sports Network Exterminator Attack Pest Control Game of the Week.
Experience the history of the first country music superstar and see how Hank Williams transformed country music and sowed the seeds of what was to become American music.
And we're back for fourth down. Catholic on a punt. Kick is away. Nice sideline kick there. Going to go out of bounds near the 20. As the official works his way up the sideline. We'll check that. He's up to about the 30 now, so he walked up there pretty good. So 24-yard punt for the Knights, and Tallassee will start out first and 10 on about their own 30-yard line. But there was a flag on the play here back near the line of scrimmage, so we'll have to see what that's all about.
And he's pointing back towards the Tallassee side, so if it's offsides, they'll still have a fourth down. Let's see. Now they're going to call holding on Catholic.
Holding on Catholic.
I would assume that. That's right. That's hard to tell because if you're Catholic, why are you holding 3 yards down the field according to where the flag was thrown?
Yeah, and Tallassee was playing punt safe. They weren't even really rushing that time. It was a huge streak of lightning off of the distance. Here's some oohs and ahs out of this large crowd here tonight at Montgomery Catholic.
And okay, here's one of the things that people at home, if you see the crowd at home, here's the thing about these two teams. Tallassee has a full city behind them. They're the only school there. Catholic has the full church and the Catholic community here in Montgomery. So that's why you'll see these two crowds. And these is a great crowd for a first game.
So they're going to march off the penalty against the Knights. They'll move the football out to the 40-yard line. So nice field position here to start this second possession for the Tigers. 5:44 left here, first quarter. As this time Ellis will work from under center. And they're going to flip the tight end over here to the near side. It's going to be a handoff. Nice running room that time. Straight up the middle, out near the first down for the Tigers. Nice gain of 10 yards that time. It's going to be number 14 on the carry. That is, lost him on my stat sheet here. I'm sorry. That's going to be Smith on the carry. 10 yards and a first down for the Tigers.
And that's one of those things we talked about earlier is these two teams on their first drives fill each other out. Tallassee ran a lot of stretch plays, open up the middle. First play from scrimmage, they run a dive.
First and 10, ball just resting in Catholic territory as, again, they flip the tight end. And some contact up front before the snap.
Defensive tackles, both of them jumped. The left side went first. He was able to get back. Then the right side went and just kind of got stuck in the mud, it looked like, and couldn't get back. Didn't make contact, just couldn't get back in time. And because he couldn't get back in time, Tallassee did the smart thing and snapped the football.
So offsides on Catholic. So it'll be 1st and 5. And again, the tight end lining up on the left side, so he's covered up, so he's not eligible. That's going to be number 2, Griffin. They're going to hand this off Smith. Moving that pile forward across the 40 down to the 39, 6 yards, and another first down for Tallassee.
What's interesting about this drive, Tallassee came out. They were lined up in a stacked backfield the very first play of the game, shifted into the Notre Dame box. This drive, after that sack on the last possession, they load that line of scrimmage up, and they're going I formation and just putting it right down the middle of that Montgomery Catholic defense.
So 1st and 10, ball resting at the Catholic 39. 2 receivers to the near side. Again, I formation for the Tigers with Smith dotting the I. They're going to move Griffin over here to the right again on the formation. And again, Catholic comes across the line. Looks like one of the linebackers is sneaking up there trying to blitz.
And I don't know if this may be one of those things where you don't want to say it, but it may be happening. You may have calls going on the line of scrimmage, the center calling the plays for the rest of the offensive linemen, and what Catholic hears is they hear that call and think it's the quarterback when it's really the center, and he's making the call for the offensive lineman who to block.
So the 3rd offside penalty on Catholic here in the first quarter. They're going to toss it to Smith coming to the near side. Nice block by his fullback. Smith falls forward to about the 32-yard line. Short gain of about 2 or 3, but that's all right when you get that 5-yard penalty on first down.
And that was a good job by Smith that time as he got to the outside. His guy was on the ground. He got hit, but he landed on top of his guys with his legs in the air and was able to get another yard out of it because he was aware that he didn't touch the ground and dove forward.
2nd down and 3 for the Tigers at the Catholic 32, 3:40 and the clock moving here in the first quarter. Williams, the fullback for the Tigers. Smith's got to get it left side. He stood up this time for no gain and slammed to the ground by the Catholic defense. Looks like number 5 made the play for the Knights. That's going to be Marcus Dees, the second.
Marcus Dees is one of those returning linebackers back for Catholic, and he plugs the middle for the Knights. That's who T.J. Dudley's feeding off of. They keep running right at Dees and right at Dudley, which I'm still trying to figure that out. You go right at the best 2 players, but really what happens is when you take the ball to that side, you block and you engage those guys, and you take them out of the play, and then the weak side has to rotate over, and Catholics right now is just not doing a good job of rotating over.
So 3rd and 4, they're going to go back to the box here. They're going to come to the near side. That's going to be Smith trying to get the corner. 30 down to the 29. It's going to be close. It's going to depend on the spot. At the very least, it's going to be 4th and very short.
Here's the key to the Notre Dame box, and that play was beautiful for Tallassee. You got 3 guys in the backfield. That leaves 8 guys at the line of scrimmage. What happens is you basically run a stretch play to the outside, turns it into a sweep. You got 10 guys in front of you because you got the other 2 running backs, including the quarterback who's not in. You've got 3 running backs in the backfield, so that alleviates the freshman under center. And they were able to get outside, and this is going to be close.
The other problem here, there's just no way for Catholic to simulate this in practice. Even if you know it's coming, the speed that Tallassee's going to run that with, they just cannot simulate that.
When you've got athletes like Tallassee has, you can't simulate game speed in Notre Dame box. You can't simulate game speed in the triple option attack. And you hear people all the time when and especially in college football, when you play against Navy and Army, they hate it because they can't simulate it.
Just as Alabama about Citadel. It was 10-10 at halftime last year. So it's a little short, about 4th and 6 inches. No doubt Tallassee will go for it here. Catholic will have to be careful not to jump offside again.
And I say if they don't jump and if they can't draw them off, this would be the perfect time to take that ball right up the middle. You've proven that you can run it up the middle. If I'm Catholic, I'm calling a blitz, and if you give up a touchdown, you give up a touchdown. But at this point, you got to put as many people on that line of scrimmage as you can and try to thwart that offense of Tallassee.
So nice job by the officials to move the chains in there and spot it. 2:29. They're gonna, when they put the clock back into play, it'll start running. As again, Smith's back there in the backfield. They're gonna go with the box again and shift here on 4th and inches for the Tigers. Smith on the low snap, works left side. He's going to have his first down as he sidesteps the defender inside the 25 down to the 23 for a gain of 6.
And if you notice, I don't know if you caught it, that defensive line from Catholic did not move at all until that ball was already in the backfield. Tallassee may have gotten away with a little bit of an early jump from the right guard spot. He stood up a little bit before that ball was centered, but at the end of the day, those guys down there in the stripes make those calls. It's just one of those, did he make it simultaneously?
So 1st and 10 for the Tigers. Again, they stay in the box. They're going to do the inside handoff again to the left side. Number 3, Daniels on the carry. Going to work down to about the 21 for a gain of 3.
Couldn't tell if he got him.
There's a flag on the play, though, here on the near side.
Couldn't tell if he got him by his shoulder pads. I think this is going to be a face mask call. But he got whipped on that play when he came down, and you could tell he got pulled down by something. But you got 4 flags all over the field that made the call. Even from the far side, he saw it.
We're scoreless here on the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week. 1:50 left in the first quarter between Catholic and Tallassee. The Tigers on the move for the moment. It is going to be a personal foul. Face mask, good call there. Well, they're going to march that in, and Tallassee's going to have another first down here deep in night territory.
And that was all generated on a misdirection because they got the ball in the backfield. He went right. As he took 2 steps to the right, Tallassee cut up and basically like an old wing T dive, handed the ball off in front, and then Mr. Dudley from Catholic just reached out, and the first thing he grabbed was a face mask.
So 1st and 10 at the 11-yard line for the Tigers. Smith works right. Going to look to throw. Pump fakes now, takes off. He opens up for him on the left side there. If he can get to the outside, puts it back inside the 10. And he's going to get down to the 5, maybe the 4. So all the running there was going to be a pass play, but he did a nice job avoiding the initial contact.
All that, and I don't even think the Catholic defender realized that he ran right by the quarterback with the football. But then the misdirection he got over there, Catholic did a good job, had 2 guys that stayed at home. They pursued the football well. But Tallassee threatening, and we told you, this is one of those things, especially with this weather moving in, you get ahead with not a lot of time left. Things can happen.
Under a minute to play now. Don't see the 40-second clocks working here in the end zone, so we're not sure what that was, although they were on before the game.
Yeah, the back judge has been running it since kickoff, so I don't know if maybe the rain got into it or if it got hit or what happened.
A late shift here for the Tigers. Going to be number 32 on the carry, working to the left side. Fresh legs in there. And driving down towards the goal line. No signal yet, as that's Xavion Carr. He might have a first down. They could get another first down. He's close. It's going to depend on the spot. It'll either be 3rd and 1. It is first down. They signal another first down for the Tigers. So 1st and goal for the Tigers at the 1. That's the fresh legs of Carr. Picks up 5 yards.
And that's the benefit for Tallassee. You use all that time, all those running backs, all those offensive linemen. Then you bring a fresh guy in once you get the ball to the 10, and he picks up 9 yards.
And Tallassee's not going to run another play here. They're going to let the quarter end in a scoreless deadlock. So we're going to hit triple zeros here in the first quarter of Catholic. It's Catholic nothing, Tallassee nothing. You're watching the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week here on the Montgomery Sports Network.
Experience the history of the first country music superstar and see how Hank Williams transformed country music and sowed the seeds of what was to become American music. Visit the Hank Williams Museum, nestled in historic downtown Montgomery, Alabama. The Hank Williams Museum is one of the top tourist attractions in Alabama. Museum hours are 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, 10 to 4 on Saturday, and 1 to 4 on Sunday. And they offer group rates, AAA, and military discounts.
I had a dream, a beautiful dream. I couldn't believe how real it seemed. Up on stage, in the field of green, on the winding river, and a song you'll sing. When I wake up, I'll see you here in Montgomery, where dreams come true.
And welcome back to the Montgomery Sports Network Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week. My name's Kane Young here with Travis Jerome. Travis, Tallassee ate up about the last 5 minutes of that quarter, and they have 1st and goal at the 1-yard line to start the second.
And they've done a really good job of switching things up on Montgomery Catholic. They started Notre Dame box. Now they're switching back and forth from an I to a Notre Dame box. They've got maybe 6 inches to get into the end zone on this play.
Xavion Carr still in the backfield here. Carried it last time. He's going to get the snap. Works right. And a big play there for the Catholic defense. That's going to be Dudley making the tackle. Loss of 6 on the play. Bring up second down and goal from the 7 as he shot that gap.
The linebackers from Montgomery Catholic are absolutely probably the best set of linebackers in the city, I would say, at any level. These guys can play. They can read. You got a 4-star guy. You got a guy that really hasn't picked up a lot of college offers. They expect him to over the next week or two. And these guys are really controlling that line of scrimmage right now.
And now we have a timeout taken by Tallassee. So we'll keep it right here for the moment. A lot of lightning off in the distance here. Nothing really directly, but we hear the oohs and ahs of the crowd as they're sitting here watching this take place.
We'll just call it heat lightning. How about that?
Yeah. So second down and goal from about the 6, 11:23 left here till halftime. Tallassee was on the move there. Almost like the quarter break gave Catholic a moment there to get their sea legs underneath them.
Well, with about a minute and a half left when they were measuring for that first down at the 29-yard line, the Tallassee offense was standing around, just standing. The Catholic defense had their hands on their hips. And when I say hands on the hips, I don't mean one, and I don't mean with their palms. I mean they had the hands turned backwards, which is the sign of, hey, I'm tired. And Tallassee really has used their will just to push down the field. And Montgomery Catholic came out first play of the second quarter. Now let's see what Coach Battles does, because you know Coach Johnson from Catholic's going to keep everything he's been doing.
So second and goal at the 6-yard line. Tallassee now with 2 timeouts remaining. Catholic with all 3 in their pocket for the moment. And again, looks like Tallassee's going to shift into the box as Smith is back in the backfield here for the Tigers. Now with a stoppage like that, it's a 25-second play clock, not the 40-second play clock on second and goal for Tallassee. Smith fakes the handoff, goes right. Nothing happening over there. And again, Mr. Dudley making the initial contact for the Knights.
And it's one of those, you can almost see what Tallassee's going to do. And I just now picked it up because of where they are on the football field. When they're lined up with the 3 stack guys in the backfield, their gaps are big. So you know they're not going to run a play. So they're going to shift in, and they're going to shift over to the box. And Catholics is staying at home. They're not moving. But I think the reason the Catholics been jumping, we thought it may have been the calls early, is when Tallassee resets and that hand goes down. Catholics got to adjust, and I think they have on these 2 plays.
Third and goal from the 7. Back to the shotgun this time. Ellis going to throw a swing pass. It's going to be a double pass here. They're going to try to toss it to the back over here. Throw to the quarterback. Ellis makes the grab. Dives forward down to about the 1-yard line. The trickeration there is going to pick up 6. That'll be 4th down, and I would assume Tallassee is going to go for it now.
And what do we say? One of the big keys was the weather. What happened to the Montgomery Catholic defenders? Feet came out from under him. He had a beat on it. If he catches that, he's gone 90 yards the other way. Coach Battles, that takes guts to call that on a 3rd down early in the season, and especially going into the end zone.
So 4th and goal from the 1. The play picked up 6 yards. 10 minutes left, the clock moving here. They're going to go in the I formation. Williams, the fullback. Smith, the tailback. Ellis under center. He's going to hand off Smith right side. He's hit at the goal line, falls forward, and he's in for the touchdown.
Good play call from Tallassee that time. And he used, again, the weather. The defensive lineman from Catholic slipped at about the 1, able to get into the end zone and score for Tallassee.
So Smith scores from 1 yard out. We'll get the extra point attempt here in just a moment for Tallassee as they strike first. Marciano Smith, the 10th grade sophomore running back linebacker, getting in from 1 yard out. And doing the kicking for Tallassee is going to be number 24, Clay Johnson, another sophomore. Good snap and spot. Kick is up, and it wiggles its way over the crossbar good. And our new score, 9:47 left in the second quarter. Tallassee 7, Catholic nothing. You're watching the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week on the Montgomery Sports Network.
Extermatech Pest Control is a small, passionate, and powerful team. If you have bugs bugging you, join the Extermatech family and have peace of mind that comes from the expertise of a professional company and enjoy their personal service. Extermatech is locally owned and operated. They've been bugging the competition for over 15 years. Each and every customer is important to them. Customer service, their number one goal. Call Extermatech 334-209-4590.
Montgomery's best country is on Bama Country 98.9 WBAM. Bama Country with Bubba and Christy every weekday morning 5:30 to 10 a.m. Bama Country, playing today's best country and all the country legends. Bama Country 98.9 WBAM. Listen to Bama Country 98.9 WBAM.
And welcome back here as Tallassee squibs a kick over the middle, and Catholic's going to fall in about the 38-yard line. That was an 8-minute drive for Tallassee, marched 60 yards, and resulted in a 4th and goal play to take the first score of the evening with a 7-0. Big drive for Tallassee there, just eating up all that clock and yardage and time.
They ate up a lot of clock. They were able to tire out that Montgomery Catholic defense. Now Catholic's got to respond, and they've got to get a drive of their own going to give that defense some time off because that was a long drive.
And now we have a timeout taken by Tallassee for they are short a man. So they only had 10 men on the field, so Tallassee has to burn their second timeout. 9:45 left here till halftime. We'll keep it right here. But Tallassee, 60-yard drive, took 8 minutes. They got the ball back with 5:55 left there in the first quarter off a Catholic punt, and they were able to march it down the field slowly but surely and get it in the end zone. So for Catholic, first drive, they picked up a couple first downs and it kind of stalled out there around midfield. So this is a big possession here as we go.
Big possession, but here's the one thing you don't want to see. The athletic trainer is out on the field talking to the official, and the only thing the athletic trainer talks to the official about is lightning in the radius. And, of course, it's going to be during a timeout when he goes out there. So Tallassee may have just gotten themselves about a 30-minute break. We'll see what happens. That's actually Daniel Veras, the athletic director.
So first and 10 for the Knights. Watley in the backfield with Gibson. Oh, the snap gets behind Ivy. He was on the ground. It's picked up. And coming near side, here's Gibson. He's going to be spun out of bounds at about the 31-yard line. Ivy was not ready for the snap and rolled right back past him like a bowling ball. So a loss of 6 to bring up second down and 16. Check that, loss of 8, second down and 18 for Catholic.
And again, this is where we talk about that offense. You're trying to put a new offense in. You're running it against a 5A school. You're not going to say they're bigger and stronger, but they may have more numbers than you do. And they were able to do some things in the summer maybe you weren't. And you look across this defense is for Tallassee, not tired one bit. And they got guys that are playing on both sides of the football.
So check out second and 18. Watley goes in motion. Gibson gets the handoff, works to the left side, spins his way across the 35, still driving those legs out across the 40. He's going to pick up about half of it there. Gets 9 on the play to bring up third down and 9 for the Knights.
It's more manageable than second and 18. You pick up half of that yardage back. Now we'll see. You saw what happened the first third down the Catholic had. They tested the corner outside in one-on-one coverage, and you got a pass interference call.
So they're going to spot at the 41, so we'll give them 10. It'll be third down and 8 as we have 8.5 minutes and the clock moving here till halftime. Tallassee leads at 7-0. Ivy's going to roll to the left, looking, throwing towards Carter out there. He dives and makes the grab out across midfield. It's going to be about 15 yards and a first down for the Knights.
Heck of a play for Catholic. Great play call by Coach Blackwell. You roll Ivy out to give him a little more time. You roll him out behind the big 6'6 tackle, 6'6 guard you just got in January. Rolls him out, able to peel back. The receiver comes back on a curl. Ivy hits him perfect where nobody else can catch the football.
So DJ Carter with a nice catch out there. And they'll bring up first and 10 for the Knights at the Tallassee 48. This time they're going to hand off to Carter coming near side. Has some blocking out here. Works his way down to about the 45, down to about the 43. So a nice 5-yard gain there on first down for Carter.
You know, you're used to calling Gibson's name when he gets the football to run. He did a great job that time of getting outside and getting a seal block. He was able, because he was on the opposite side of the football, came in motion, came out, seal block, allowed Catholic to pick up about another 4 or 5 yards on the play.
So second down, we'll call it 5 here, just the ball resting just inside the 44. Watley goes in motion. They're going to give it to Gibson, right side, has some room, plows forward across the 40, down near the 38, and by that spot, he's going to have another first down for the Knights.
Misdirection that time. We talked about that back seven for Tallassee. They've been able to sit back and analyze a few things and see some things that Catholic's running now. And now they're using some misdirection and getting things going, and we do have a first down. I thought he was calling lightning delay, but Catholic using that misdirection, and it's freezing the linebackers. And that's the best players right now for Tallassee on those defenses at back seven.
So 1st and 10 at the Tallassee 38, 6:50 clock moves. Gibson's going to get this, and he is met at the line initially by that Tallassee defense leading the charge there, number 11, Jacob Webster. Only a gain of 1 that time for Gibson on the carry.
Middle linebacker making the play. We just talked about the misdirection, freezing those linebackers. They run a straight dive up the middle, so there's really no misdirection in it at all. And he just is able to get in the backfield and make the play.
So 2nd and 9 at the 37. Watley offset to the left. Gibson behind Ivy for the moment. Ivy's going to run the option, looks like to the left. He tries to keep it, tries to cut it back. And is going to fall forward for a short gain down to the 35, bringing up 3rd down and about 7.
Good pursuit from Tallassee that time. They were able to do some things and make a play to make Ivy go outside instead of up the middle.
So we're going to have our heat timeout. We're going to keep it right here, 6 minutes. So for those of you unfamiliar with the weather so hot here in the early part of the season, usually about the first 4 weeks or so, we have a heat timeout mandated by the AHSAA at the 6-minute mark, or the first play after the 6-minute mark. This one here in the second quarter comes exactly with 6 minutes left. 7-0 Tallassee leading. 3rd down and 7. Last time we saw 3rd and 8, they rolled the pocket to get Ivy out there. He found a Carter on the sideline. Might see the same thing again potentially.
If you're Coach Blackwell, do you roll the dice the third straight 3rd down and roll him or drop him back to pass? That's the thing that for Tallassee. Hey, they've had 2 third downs. He's dropped back once, thrown it long, got a pass interference. They had 4 third downs. And then they've passed every 3rd down they've had. What do you do right here if you're Catholic? Do you try to run it up the middle and then, or you use misdirection, or you roll Ivy? Maybe roll Ivy to the right side this time just to get those linebackers rolling away.
So 3rd and 7. Carter's going to be down here at the bottom of our screen. They're going to put Butler way out to the left with Watley. Gibson offset to the right of Ivy in the backfield. Now Watley comes in motion. We're going to give the Gibson left side. He sidesteps one defender and gets down to about the 32-31. It's going to bring up 4th down and manageable here.
And they used the misdirection that time, got everybody thinking they were going to run something to the outside, run it right up the middle. This is a manageable 4th down for Catholic. But again, it's a 4th and 3, 4th and long 3, really a 4th and 4. Do you roll Ivy again? Get him out of the pocket if he doesn't have a receiver? Do you let him use his legs? We saw him use his legs 2 plays ago. And he really had a hole he could have went, but he chose to go right instead of left. Let's see what they have up their sleeve this time, what Tallassee has up theirs.
4th and 3 at the 31. Oh, we got movement up front. Looks like Tallassee jumped offside.
Hard count that time by Ivy. You could see it from here. Anytime you see a quarterback, folks, for at home, anytime you see a quarterback bark and his body moves, that's just a hard count. That's the most legal play in football, and the defense is listening instead of watching the ball, and it pays off in this.
So Catholic, the beneficiary of the offsides this time, so it'll be 1st and 10 for the Knights at the Tallassee 26-yard line. Ivy gonna look to throw, going far left side, left corner over there. There's a defender over there, but jumping up for the football, unable to come down with it on the far side over there is going to be number 14, Butler. Falls incomplete to bring 2nd down. It was a nice throw, though.
Ivy went through his progressions that time, and he went through his progressions. His receiver had stopped running in the end zone. So that's where you get into the thing about a receiver. You've got to tell him to slow down a little bit. And now we've got a flag thrown over here. Sideline warning is all it's going to be. But in that instance, Christian's got to be able to drop back and just let it go. If you've got a mismatch one-on-one, just throw it up as soon as he gets off the line of scrimmage.
Dalton Lanier on the coverage that time for Tallassee. Bring up 2nd and 10. 4:49 remaining until halftime. Ivy going to throw it out here to the far left side. Carter avoids one defender, sidesteps another inside the 20. Gets it all on his own to about the 15 and a 1st down for the Knights.
Got past 3 defenders that time. He basically did all that on his own on just a little quick hitch out from Ivy. And that's a one-man play. You just get it out and let your receiver make a play for you, and that's exactly what he did. Defensive back ran right by him, and then the safety came up and missed, and the linebacker also came up and missed.
So 1st and 10 at the 15. Knights into the red zone here. This time Gibson offset to the right. Watley comes in motion. Gibson takes the handoff. Has some room across the 10. He's down to about the 9-yard line. A gain of 6 on 1st down for the senior running back.
And we talked about Tallassee using clock. Catholic's now using clock on this drive, and they're keeping Tallassee on their heels. So teams both in their second drive now. We talked about how in the first drive they were going to fill some things out, try to find some things that worked. Obviously, both teams have found some things that have worked now, and Tallassee got into the red zone and scored. Now here's Catholic inside the 10, inside the red zone.
3:40 and counting left here in the second quarter. Gibson offset to the right. Ivy going to put up in the air, going back over there left side, and he's trying to find, look like Butler over there in the corner, and it goes incomplete. They'll bring up 3rd down for the Knights.
And I think Catholic's found the side of the football and the side of the defense they want to go at, and that ball was perfectly thrown, just went off the receiver's shoulder pads. He didn't get his hands out in front and took it off the pads.
So mass substitutions here on 3rd down for Catholic. Looks like they're bringing in a heavy set.
They take out the 2 receivers, take out an offensive lineman. And they go big now on that offensive line. They took out probably their smallest lineman. Now they've got, it looks like, at least about 260 across the front.
So the ball resting on the 9-yard line. They're going to toss it. Gibson, left side, trying to get the corner. He does as he goes down inside the 5 to about the 4. A nice run that time, and it should be enough for the 1st down for the Knights.
They go back to old school, the things that work, and line up in that power I and sweep it to the weak side. Actually, they were lined up strong side, and you would think they would go to that strong side. Instead, they went to the short side of the football field to the weak side, and able to pick up a 1st down.
So 3:19 left till halftime. 1st and goal for the Knights down at the 4-yard line. They'll stay in that power I with Gibson, the tailback. They're going to work Gibson left side. This time he stood up right at the line of scrimmage. Nothing happening there that time as the Tallassee defense able to swarm in. And we have a stoppage of the clock. I'm not sure what happened there. Somebody lost a helmet, so that player's going to have to come out. And I think it was Gibson lost his helmet, so he's going to come out of the game here for at least a play.
And this is a spot you don't want your 1,900-yard running back to come out inside the 5. But again, that Tallassee defense, those linebackers are able to shuffle down the line because those defensive linemen are engaging the offensive line, not letting them get to the next level.
So this time it's going to be, looks like number 6 is the tailback for the Knights. That is Dudley. Dudley's going to get it coming near side. He gets the corner. Hit. Runs over the defender. Is in the end zone for the touchdown.
Good play call by Aubrey Blackwell that time. A lot of confusion on that Tallassee defense. That Tallassee defense, up until the snap of the football, had guys running everywhere. And those of you at home, I don't know if you saw it, but they sent everybody to the left side of that Montgomery Catholic offense, and Catholic just ran it to the right side where everybody had just vacated their position.
So, opportunity here for Catholic to tie the game up as you're looking at a replay presented by Matt Matthews, protecting AlabamaWorkers.com. Good snap and spot. Papanastos on the kick is good, and our new score of 2:44 left in the first half. We're all tied at 7.
Extermatech Pest Control is a small, passionate, and powerful team. If you have bugs bugging you, join the Extermatech family and have peace of mind that comes from the expertise of a professional company, and enjoy their personal service. Extermatech is locally owned and operated. They've been bugging the competition for over 15 years. Each and every customer is important to them. Customer service, their number one goal. Call Extermatech, 334-209-4590.
97.9 Jams, the new home of the Ricky Smiley Morning Show.
Hey, what up? This is your boy Ricky Smiley from the Ricky Smiley Morning Show on my new home, Montgomery, the Gump. ASU, what's up?
Throwback Quickie Mix at noon, the Live Drive at 5, and Top 5 at 9. Your favorite jams are on now. Drake, Rihanna, T.I., Nicki Minaj, Chris Brown, and Beyonce are all at 979jams.com. On your radio at 97.9. Tune in and turn up 97.9 Jams.
Smith taking the kickoff here. Has some room. There's a flag on the play as he gets across the 40-yard line, but this one will probably come back as he took that kickoff back near his goal line and raced across the 40, but there's a flag in the middle of the field.
Flag on the opposite side of the field, and came for those of you said Pappanastus, and I know you know because you brought up Alabama. Pappanastus is the nephew cousin of Andy Pappanastus. I got to look at halftime. I'll tell you correctly. 2 kickers from Montgomery Catholic, though. One is a national team soccer player, and Russo, and then you got Pappanassus. So you got 2 guys that once you cross the 50, fair game.
And that's one thing we haven't talked about, but the kicking game at the high school level, when you have that weapon and you can pin a team back, that is such an advantage when you can have a team start on their 20 and have to go 80 yards every time.
And Montgomery has really become a hotbed for kickers. James Sherman here at Montgomery Catholic signed with Texas State. Andy Pappanassus went to Ole Miss first, transferred to Alabama. Got Hunter Hanson over to Alabama State, played at Alabama Christian. So it's just now who's the next line of kickers to come through the city.
And we saw last year we had a Lanier game. Their kicker, whose name escapes me at the moment, every time he kicked off, went in the 20-yard line, was kicking field goals from 40 yards. Just such a weapon when you have that kicking game here at the high school level, and the teams that have it can use it to their advantage. But that penalty's going to march back the Tigers back to their 15-yard line. 2:34 remaining here in the half as Ellis comes back out in the field, a quarterback in the shotgun this time. Low snap. There's trouble in the backfield as Ellis has to get on the top of the football. He's going to lose about 5 yards on the play.
And really there hasn't been any rain, so the slipping and the dropping of the football and the bad snaps is just built up now because the guys are starting to tear the field up. You can see it where it's tearing up inside the hashes. So you can see where the plays are being run, and because of that, everything gets slick. The balls probably have been sitting out here collecting some dew now because you can see here it's starting to get a little foggy as the sky lights up again.
2 minutes left at halftime. Clock continues to move I formation this time. That's going to be Smith working to the left, spins his way across the 15, out to about the 18-yard line. Might we see Catholic take a timeout here and try to get the football back?
You might. You got 2 left. It's third and long. If you're Coach Blackwell, you turn to Coach Johnson and say, can you make a quick stop so we can get one here on 4th and preserve a timeout? But we talk about all this lightning. Park Crossing and Lee haven't even warmed up downtown at ASU Stadium. So I'm sure Hoover and Phoenix City probably haven't either.
Incredible.
So we're lucky right now to even be on the football field.
So 3rd and 8, 1:20 clock continues to move here. We'll stay in that I formation for the Tigers. And bootleg action. Ellis rolls to the right. He's going to take it himself, try to keep it, and he goes out of bounds. Did not get the first down. That's going to be a break for the Knights.
And that was all caused by that defensive player, the defensive back. He had a receiver out there with Tallassee. Instead of that receiver turning and blocking, he kept running backwards with the quarterback wanting the football to be thrown to him. Tallassee had already crossed the line of scrimmage. You got to turn and block at that point. So the defensive player for Catholic just turns and pushes him into his quarterback short of the first down marker.
So the play gained 4 yards. It's going to be 4th down and 4. Clock stopped with 1:06 remaining. And Catholic might get pretty good field position out of this as number 21, Nathan Downs, goes back at his own 45-yard line. Lanier on the punt for the Tigers. More lightning off in the distance.
That's all behind us downtown. They can have it. They can have that downtown Montgomery.
Tallassee runs a player on late. Catholic in a punt safe for the moment. High kick, fair catch called for, and taken at about the 49-yard line for the Knights.
So we talked about is Catholic going to take a timeout. How about this? 51 yards to the end zone. You're probably 25 yards, maybe 30 for field goal range. 59.7 seconds left, but more importantly, you've got 3 timeouts left.
So for Catholic, this is Gary Danielson's favorite part of the game every Saturday on the SEC Network. Catholic tie game, has possession. They're going to get the ball to start second half. Almost a must-stop here, you would think, for Tallassee.
you would think, and they're going to come out back in their base 3-4 again with those 4 linebackers, and he actually spreads one of the linebackers back as a basically mid-safety.
Ivy looking to throw, flushed out of the pocket near side, throws it late over here, and a nice catch by Watley as he's hit out of bounds around the 40-yard line. It gains a 12 yards and a first down.
Best part about that play, offensive lineman from Catholic was able to get his shoulder in front of that defensive lineman for Tallassee in the backfield. He doesn't get that front shoulder across. That's a 15-yard penalty, and you're looking at 1st and 25 instead of 1st and 10 at the 39.
So the clock stops by getting out of bounds. Catholic's going to go 2 receivers to each side here. The normal spread look. Carter in the slot here at the near side. Ivy looks left, throws out there. It is caught by Butler. He's down near the first down at about the 29-yard line, so a nice throw and catch that time, and a timeout or a first down. Looks like timeout taken by Catholic, so we'll keep it right here with 39 seconds left in the first half.
This is the point of the game. It's still the first half of football. When you go back and you start playing a prevent defense and you start saying, I'm going to keep everybody in front of me, which is what Tallassee's doing right now, all you're doing is giving the Knights chunks of yardage, and they've already gotten inside your 30 and not even used 20 seconds yet. As a defense right now, you need to change things up. Maybe bring a blitz. Maybe change some things up. If you get burned, drop one of your linebackers into coverage if you're bringing a safety. But Tallassee right now is keeping everything in front. It's almost like they're saying, I'm going to play at the 10. Nothing's getting behind me. At this point in the game, you've got to get a stop because all you're doing is going to give up points if you don't.
So 39.9 left till halftime. Catholic has 2 timeouts remaining, as that was their first one burned here. And another ooh and ah out of the crowd. The head official had his back turned to that, so he didn't see it.
It's a fireworks show going on out here. That's all it is. Everybody's enjoying the July 4th fireworks in August.
So this lightning off to the north, to our left here at Catholic out here on the east side of Montgomery. So check out 1st and 10 at the 29 for the Knights as Ivy will work out of the shotgun. This time he's going to have Watley and Gibson in the backfield with him. Carmichael off here to the bottom of the screen with Carter. They're going to run in reverse. Carter's going to take it to the left side. Has some blocking out there, but the defender gets off his block on the outside. A nice job that time by the Tallassee defense to stay at home.
Catholic did not engage the whole time during that play. They released, and when they released, Tallassee was able to make the play. So clock running now for the Knights, and they're still running around trying to get set up.
Under 20 seconds now, clock moving. Ivy looks right. Throwing over here, far side. And going up and getting the football is Carmichael down at the 4-yard line. And a quick timeout taken by Catholic with 8 seconds remaining. As that play picks up 26 yards and a first down.
This is what I like about Aubrey Blackwell as a head coach. He used to be an offensive coordinator. He was a position coach before. What he does and what people don't really see at home, that play, Aubrey Blackwell's calling plays. That play's at the 4 where he gets tackled. Blackwell's back here at the 35.
So we got another replay there. You look at that. Carmichael going up and high pointing the football. Matt Matthews protecting AlabamaWorkers.com replay is our sponsor there. But just a great throw and catch, as you were saying, and going back to the play call there by Coach Blackwell.
The play call by Coach Blackwell, and then he has an assistant coach right by the official. So that assistant coach is one job. If they make a play and they're in bounds, call a timeout. We got to call a timeout. So what he did, he just saved about 4 seconds, having not to sprint. You'll see head coaches all the time sprint down the field to have to go chase the official to call a timeout because Blackwell had one standing right there by the official. As soon as the catch made, as soon as he's down, timeout, call, clock stops.
And obviously one timeout here. Still time for 2 plays. They can run or pass as an option here on 1st and goal from the 4 for the Knights.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to be in a little bit of delay at halftime because you're starting to hear that thunder with it.
So Gibson in the backfield. Ivy looking left, throwing to the far corner over there. And going up and getting the football is going to be Butler for the touchdown with 3 seconds remaining. Nice throw and catch.
Nice throw and catch. We've been talking about how Ivy's been going backside to the left side every throw. That was the first throw to his right side other than the first throw of the game. And they picked on that side of that Tallassee defense, and it pays off this time.
So a 51-yard drive in 56 seconds for the Knights, and they take a 13-7 lead. with Papanastus coming on for the extra point. That replay brought to you by Matt Matthews, ProtectingAlabamaWorkers.com. Here on the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week, as Papanastus kick sails high into the night, and it's good. So our new score, 14-7 for Catholic. So our first quarter controlled by Tallassee. Into the second, Catholic has really started to change it up and gain control here in the last half of the second quarter.
And that's sometimes what happens at home. It takes you a while to get going. It takes you a while to really, when you start filling things out. They've gone away from the triple option a little bit. You saw that a little bit of that 2-minute offense there. You saw some power eye where they were able to get at it on the sweep. But they really kept that Tallassee defense off balance. Tallassee's going to have to go in the locker room now and figure out what to do, because Catholic gets the ball coming out, and they've got a 7-point lead, and there's still 3.4 seconds left, and anything can happen in football in 3 seconds.
So Catholic trailed 7-0. Tallassee had an 8-minute drive that consumed the last 6 minutes of the first quarter and the first 2 of the second. And then Catholic's able to answer to even things up. They're able to get the ball back here in the last minute. And they marched 51 yards in 56 seconds on a touchdown pass from Ivy to Butler from 4 yards out. So 3 seconds left, as kicking off here will be Russo for Catholic.
Missed a flag, I think, down here. They got Tallassee offsides, and Catholic's able to put the 5 yards after the extra point. I didn't see the flag, but that's the only thing that can happen by pushing it up to the 40.
So we'll see if they kick it deep. Tallassee had a decent return last time, with the exception being the flag. They're going to put this one on the ground. It's going to be picked up by Carr at about the 10. Works to the right side there. He's going to be dropped at about the 16-yard line. Nice coverage for Catholic as the clock hits triple zeros here in the second quarter. Our score at halftime on the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week, it's Montgomery Catholic 14, the Tallassee Tigers 7. You're watching the Montgomery Sports Network. We're going to take a quick time out, get a word from our sponsors, come back here and talk about a few things here heading into the second half.
Extermatech Pest Control is a small, passionate, and powerful team. If you have bugs bugging you, join the Extermatech family and have peace of mind that comes from the expertise of a professional company, and enjoy their personal service. Extermatech is locally owned and operated. They've been bugging the competition for over 15 years. Each and every customer is important to them. Customer service, their number one goal. Call Extermatech 334-209-4590. Mid-State Burglar Bars and Ironworks Incorporated is a locally owned and operated business in Montgomery, Alabama. And we've been in business since 1985 and serve Montgomery and the surrounding counties with burglar bars, ironworks. Our philosophy is being honest, dependable, and treating each customer with respect and selling a quality product at a fair price. If you need burglar bars or ironwork of any kind, call Mid-State Burglar Bars and Ironworks, Montgomery.
97.9 Jams, the new home of the Ricky Smiley Morning Show.
Hey, what up? This your boy Ricky Smiley from the Ricky Smiley Morning Show on my new home, Montgomery, the Gump. ASU, what's up?
Throwback Quickie Mix at noon, the live drive at 5, and top 5 at 9. Your favorite jams are on now. Drake, Rihanna, T.I., Nicki Minaj, Chris Brown, and Beyonce are all at 979jams.com. And on your radio at 97.9. Tune in and turn up. 97.9 Jams.
It was 1917. Charlie Chaplin appeared as the Little Tramp, Walt Disney graduated from high school, and Woodrow Wilson was reelected president. And in Montgomery, Chris's sold their very first hot dog. Move forward to the 1950s. Hank Williams was hanging out at Chris's. Up through the 70s and 80s, many stars and politicians discovered Montgomery's little secret. Jump ahead to the new millennium. Riverwalk Stadium, the alleyway, and the new downtown. It's now 100 years later, and Chris's is still serving their world-famous hot dogs at 138 Dexter Avenue. How long has it been since you've tasted the city's most famous hot dog? Make Chris's part of your family history. Still family-owned and operated, Chris's makes every hot dog and hamburger to order. Take Chris's to your next party or event. Call-in orders are welcome. Online at chrishotdogs.com and on Facebook. Chris's Famous Hot Dogs. Taste the tradition.
La Zona Rosa Hillwood Mexican Cafe, located on Zelda Road, minutes from downtown Montgomery, is one of the area's finest Mexican restaurants. From our great lunch selection and value to our tablecloth and candle evening atmosphere for dinner, La Zona Rosa has something to offer all connoisseurs of fine Mexican dining. Come on down today and enjoy some great Mexican. La Zona Rosa Hillwood Mexican Cafe on Zelda Road, minutes from downtown. If you're injured on the job, the law requires your employer to pay your medical expenses and cover your lost wages for any work-related injury. Employers and their insurers often try to deny workers' compensation claims or limit your benefits. Whether you're totally disabled and cannot work, or if you've suffered some impairment, attorney Matt Matthews has years of experience litigating. For more information, go to the website protectingalworkers.com. That's protectingalworkers.com.
We're not your daddy's rock and roll station. 104.9, The Gump. Montgomery's alternative rock station. 104.9, The Gump. The only radio station in Montgomery playing new rock alternative. 104.9, The Gump. Montgomery's alternative rock station. 104.9, The Gump.
Extermatech Pest Control is a small, passionate, and powerful team. If you have bugs bugging you, join the Extermatech family and have peace of mind that comes from the expertise of a professional company, and enjoy their personal service. Extermatech is locally owned and operated. They've been bugging the competition for over 15 years. Each and every customer is important to them. Customer service, their number one goal. Call Extermatech, 334-209-4590.
I had a dream, a beautiful dream. I couldn't believe how real it seemed. Up on stage, in a field of green, on the winding river, and a song you'll sing. When I wake up, I'll see you here in Montgomery, where dreams come true.
And welcome back to Montgomery Catholic. You're watching the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week here on the Montgomery Sports Network, mymgmsports.com. It is Montgomery Catholic with a 14-7 lead at the half over the visitors from Tallassee. The Tigers making their way in here. Tallassee jumped out early, got a touchdown early second quarter after an 8-minute drive to lead 7-0. And Catholic able to answer for two scores, the big one there right before halftime to go up 14-7. We'll look at stats here in the first half on the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week. Rushing yards, Tallassee 51 in the first half on 7 first downs. Catholic 50 yards rushing on 6 first downs, for Tallassee. Pretty even there, but most of Tallassee's yards came on one drive.
And it really did. We talked about how Tallassee was filling Montgomery Catholic out a little bit, had that freshman quarterback, which we really haven't seen a whole lot of. He's only been in maybe 5 or 6 plays that I can remember. They've gone to that Notre Dame box, tried to spread Catholic out a little bit, and that's where most of their yards came from, all pounding the ball down the field, all run plays. So for Tallassee, they've got to find something else to go along with it now, especially you can't chew clock up and not get points.
Yeah, the only in fact, Tyler Ellis, the freshman quarterback, has not attempted to pass. He's gone back a couple times, been sacked twice. He's rolled out and ran one time for 4 yards. Passing yards in the first half, Catholic in control there, 80 yards passing in the first half for the Knights. Only 6 yards for Tallassee, and Tyler Ellis actually only has 6 yards receiving as he was able to catch a throwback from the running back. 130 total for Catholic in the first half, 57 yards total for Tallassee. In the first half, though, Christian Ivy, 6 of 9, 80 yards with a big touchdown there at the end of the half.
And most of that came on that last drive, that 2-minute drive with 59 seconds left when they got the ball at their own 49. His numbers could be just through the roof right now if those passes that he's thrown, you got one off the shoulder pass of his receiver, you got another pass interference call. Both of those were 20-plus yards passes. So Catholic's done a good job of mixing things up a little bit on offense.
Yeah, they kind of got out of the into the spread there, a little 3-wide. We saw that a lot out of Catholic last year, and they were very efficient there on that last drive. Good use by Coach Blackwell using his timeouts, going down there on that last-minute drive. He still had one in his hip pocket he didn't even have to use there. They were so efficient.
And that's what you want out of an offense. You don't necessarily like to go into halftime with a timeout left. You hear coaches say, that's why I get them. I might as well use them. But Catholic did a great job of managing that clock, especially mixing the plays up. A few misdirection plays, got that Tallassee linebacker shifting the wrong way, and then on that touchdown, they all shifted to the right really, really quick. Well, Blackwell saw it, and they ran to the left side.
Yeah, first half, Dudley had a 6-yard touchdown run for Catholic. Butler on the 4-yard touchdown reception before the half. And for Tallassee, it was Smith scoring on 4th and goal from the 1-yard line to get their score, which brings us to our total of Catholic 14 and Tallassee 7 here at the half. You're watching the Montgomery Sports Network once again. Go to our website, mymgmsports.com. You can go there and watch us live. We're having some issues with the YouTube feed tonight, so we had some of you with some questions about that on Facebook. But if you can go to our website, you can click on us there and watch us live at mymgmsports.com. We'll upload the game later on to YouTube, but we've been having some issues there getting that live stream feed tonight with that form of viewing. So about 12 minutes here to the second half. We'll take a break in just a moment. Fortunately for us, we've been playing football. Checking around for some scores. You've been checking around for some scores. About 6-7 miles to the west of us here. Not much action going on at Alabama State or Crampton Bowl right now.
Not a lot of action going on, and if you look to our left while the game's going on, you see lighting up around Wetumpka, Millbrook, Prattville. Kind of trying to figure out if those guys are playing up there. I know Stanhope was in a 7:30 delay. It'd be interesting to see if they've got that one going.
Yeah, actually, they've been pushed back to start at 9 o'clock.
Wow.
Chilton County at Stanhope Elmore. So we experienced that last year. Hopefully we can get this game in. We had a massive amount of rain and lightning before the game, and then it kind of cleared up, and we've been able to get it in. No real thunder except the last minute there before halftime.
Last minute, the best thing about halftime right now with the lightning going on behind us around downtown, the referees are inside.
So we're going to take a timeout here. Just about 11 minutes left till we get the second half started. You're watching the Montgomery Sports Network. Our score at halftime here on the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week. It's Catholic 14 and Tallassee 7.
Montgomery's new at-work station is 96.1 KISS FM. The biggest and best playlist and long sets of non-stop music. 96.1 KISS FM. Just the music you know and love. Montgomery's new at-work radio station.
I had a dream, a beautiful dream. I couldn't believe how real it seemed. Up on stage, in a field of green, on the winding river, and a song you'll sing. When I wake up, I'll see you here in Montgomery, where dreams come true.
Extermatech Pest Control is a small, passionate, and powerful team. If you have bugs bugging you, join the Extermatech family and have peace of mind that comes from the expertise of a professional company and enjoy their personal service. Extermatech is locally owned and operated. They've been bugging the competition for over 15 years. Each and every customer is important to them. Customer service, their number one goal. Call Extermatech 334-209-4590.
We're not your daddy's rock and roll station. 104.9, The Gump. Montgomery's alternative rock station. 104.9, The Gump. The only radio station in Montgomery playing new rock alternative. 104.9, The Gump. Montgomery's alternative rock station. 104.9, The Gump.
It was 1917. Charlie Chaplin appeared as the Little Tramp, Walt Disney graduated from high school, and Woodrow Wilson was reelected president. And in Montgomery, Chris's sold their very first hot dog. Move forward to the 1950s. Hank Williams was hanging out at Chris's. Up through the 70s and 80s, many stars and politicians discovered Montgomery's little secret. Jump ahead to the new millennium. Riverwalk Stadium, the alleyway, and the new downtown. It's now 100 years later, and Chris's is still serving their world-famous hot dogs at 138 Dexter Avenue. How long has it been since you've tasted the city's most famous hot dog? Make Chris's part of your family history. Still family-owned and operated, Chris's makes every hot dog and hamburger to order. Take Chris's to your next party or event. Call-in orders are welcome. Online at chrishotdogs.com and on Facebook. Chris's Famous Hot Dogs. Taste the tradition.
And welcome back here to Montgomery Catholic, where the Knights lead the Tigers of Tallassee 14-7 here at halftime as the Montgomery Catholic band performing behind us here. About 8 minutes to go until we start the second half. A lot of action across the state tonight. Not so much right now in the Montgomery area. The games down at Crampton Grove between Hoover and Phoenix City hasn't started. The game at Alabama State, Lanier Lee in a delay. I think you said they hadn't even warmed up.
Yeah, they haven't even come. They were there. They haven't come out of the locker rooms. And looks like Lee Park Crossing may be either staying the night or playing tomorrow. So we'll see what happens there.
So up the road to Millbrook, Stanhope, Elmore, and Chilton County, a 9 o'clock kickoff scheduled as of now. Some other scores of local interest. Wetumpka leads Fairhope late second quarter 10-7 down to Fairhope. We'll have Wetumpka twice this year on the Montgomery Sports Network later in the season. Once against Prattville and once against Stanhope Elmore, which was just a huge game last year between the Indians and the Mustangs. Another game of interest to those of you in Tallassee. Right now, Greenville tied at the half with Hillcrest Evergreen 6-6. Hillcrest Evergreen, a lot of success the last few years. Greenville kind of controlled their region the last couple seasons also.
And they're rebuilding offensively. Ryan Nettles, the quarterback, graduated, so he's no longer there, although he got injured last year. They've got some experience. They can make a run in that classification.
And some other scores, Maplesville all over Fultondale at halftime, 27-6. Coaching change over there as Coach Abbott takes over for Brent Hubbard, who left to go to T.R. Miller. But Maplesville keeps rolling at the small school level. A lot of success the last decade or so. A couple state championships in Tuscaloosa and Auburn for the Devils. So we got about 6 minutes here in the second half. Big possession. We said about before halftime for Tallassee's defense, unable to get the stop there. They're going to be put right back with their backs against the wall here to start the third quarter, as Catholic may have the potential to get a stranglehold on this game with the lead and retaining possession to start the second half.
And if you're Catholic, do you come out and quickly try to score? Do you milk the clock and try to get some points out of it, or milk the clock? Because if you milk the clock and don't score, it still goes in your benefit. But Tallassee gets the ball back, and when they want to drive. They can chew some clock up, and so really, it's going to be a battle of, and no pun intended, a battle between Coach Battles and Coach Blackwell on who can come up with the best first possession offensively and defensively. With Catholic getting the football first, but Catholic's thrown everything at them. They've passed the football, they've rolled the pocket, they've dropped straight back, they've done a triple option, they've done the I. Tallassee comes back on offense, and defensively that back seven's been tested, and we talked about that pregame. That back seven's been tested, and I think Catholic may have found a weak link in that back seven, and they've picked on it a little bit here late in the first half, but offensively for Tallassee, that Notre Dame box has worked. You snap the ball, you got 10 blockers in front of you, but the problem for Tallassee is that they don't get a stop. That offense takes a long time to get down the football field.
And then you're going to have to, at that point, probably ask your freshman quarterback to put the ball up in the air, which they haven't really done a whole lot here in the first half for the Tigers. The one big thing we talked about in the pregame show for Tallassee's defense, a lot of experience. You kind of just hit on there a second ago. The secondary has been burned a couple times here for Tallassee, especially late in the second quarter.
And a lot of that can be attributed to what we were talking about, that last drive of Tallassee had their heels back on the 10-yard line and was keeping everything in front of them to not let anybody get behind them. And as Catholic started going down the field, they backed up 2 yards, and then they had their heels on the 8. But at the end of the day, you still got to make a play. No matter if you're 5-10 yards down behind the play, you still got to make a play. You know the play's coming. Make a read on it, and the ball was floating. They had chances to make it. They just didn't.
So just about 4 minutes here left in the halftime as Catholics finishing up their halftime routine here. Their band doing a fabulous job out there. Couple games next week will be at Prattville Christian Academy for JU Blackshear and PCA. If my memory serves me correct, I'm looking at our director, and he's like, maybe, and I'm getting thumbs up from the rest of the crew, so we'll go with that. Some other games we have on during the season here, we'll have all the Elmore County schools at some point this season. We have Tallassee tonight. We'll have Holtville and Elmore County play later on in the season. We'll have Wetumpka twice. We'll have Stanhope Elmore twice, once against Wetumpka. Also with them hosting Opelika later in the season. We'll be in the private school down here. We'll have Catholic a couple more times this year against Alabama Christian. You'll see Trinity on here on the Montgomery Sports Network. So a lot of games throughout the season. If you want our full schedule, go to mymgmsports.com. You can find our links there from past games from last season. We had a lot of close finishes. About 6 weeks in a row, we had a game that came down to about the last play here on the Montgomery Sports Network. Again, if you're just joining us, we were having some issues with YouTube tonight. Could be the weather, could be gremlins. We're not really sure. We'll try to get that corrected as we go along. But that game will be, this game will be uploaded to YouTube later in the week. But again, you can always go to our website, mymgmsports.com, and watch our games there, or past games. You can also follow us on Facebook. Go on Facebook, like us on Facebook. Search Montgomery Sports Network. You can follow us on Twitter at mymgmsports and Instagram. So a lot of avenues for you to follow the best in Alabama high school football here in the River region. So just about 2 minutes here till the teams get out here and warm up. We're going to take another quick time out here on the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week here on the Montgomery Sports Network. It's halftime. It's Catholic 14 and Tallassee 7.
Extermatech Pest Control is a small, passionate, and powerful team. If you have bugs bugging you, join the Extermatech family and have peace of mind that comes from the expertise of a professional company, and enjoy their personal service. Extermatech is locally owned and operated. They've been bugging the competition for over 15 years. Each and every customer is important to them. Customer service, their number one goal. Call Extermatech, 334-209-4590.
Montgomery's best country is on Bama Country 98.9 WBAM. Bama Country with Bubba and Christy every weekday morning 5:30 to 10 a.m. Bama Country, playing today's best country and all the country legends. Bama Country 98.9 WBAM. Listen to Bama Country 98.9 WBAM.
And welcome back to the Montgomery Sports Network here at halftime as Catholic leads Tallassee 14-7. We'll take a moment once again just to thank our sponsors momentarily. Our title sponsor once again this year is Extermatech Pest Control. They're back with us again for our second season. Also, we'd like to thank attorney Matt Matthews, protecting AlabamaWorkers.com. They help sponsor our replays. The Hank Williams Museum is the sponsor of our pregame show, which was extended tonight because of the weather delay. So we had an extra 15 minutes of the Hank Williams Museum pregame show for all you fans out there and groupies who like that programming. Chris's Famous Hot Dogs, celebrating 102 years. They're back with us again. They've been with us the last 2 seasons. Mid-State Burger Bar and Ironworks, we thank them for their sponsorship, along with La Zona Rosa Mexican Cafe, the fastest-growing Mexican restaurant here in Montgomery, located off Zelda Road. We'd also like to thank Delta Printing and Sign Company for their sponsorship this year. And we'd also like to thank our media partners, the stations of Blue Water Broadcasting. And also one more sponsor we'd like to thank, Mac the Camera Guy and MacTheCameraGuy.com. Go to see Mac the Camera Guy for all your photo needs and weddings and proms and all that, birthday parties, setups. He'll help you out there, MacTheCameraGuy.com. So we're here at halftime. My name is Kane Young. I'm here with Travis Jerome on the first broadcast of the 2019 season. Had a lot of rain in the pregame. It's not a lot of rain. There's been some lightning off in the distance. I don't want to jinx anything. It seems like it's almost settled down for the moment as we're getting ready to start the second half. The teams are back out here getting their warm-up on as Catholic's going to get the football to start the second half.
Well, I'll go ahead and tell you, you just jinxed us because it just started raining right as soon as you said, I don't want to jinx anything.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the lights now, see it off here to the left. But we had a monsoon. We couldn't even get out of the cars to get up here to get set up in the pregame, and then we had to dodge some raindrops and lightning to get in here and get the thing started. We had about a 15-minute delay. The teams were not able to warm up at their normal time. And then Tallassee and Catholic got out here, warmed up, and then we got started about 7:15 as the Knights kind of seized a little bit of control of this game here at the end of the first half. 2 scores in the last 7 minutes to take a 14-7 lead. Montgomery Catholic, number 6 Class 4A preseason ranking. They've won playoff games each of the last 2 years. Tallassee trying to get back in the playoffs after being knocked out due to a tiebreaker last season. So Coach Battle's trying to get the Tigers back in the playoff contention. His 8th year over in eastern Elmore County as the 2 teams are huddled up and they're going to work their way back here to the sideline. So let's talk about Catholic's offense. We saw the success there with the passing game and the 3 wide and the 4 wide. Well, might they go back to that, or do you think they'll go back to the split backs and a little more option run game?
With the weather, I think he's probably going to go back to the run game a little bit. It all depends, I think, what he feels like, Christian Ivey can do under center. he's got options, and he told us pregame, he told us before today to watch out for his two receivers, and so far they've been explosive, but he's still got one of the best backs in the state in the backfield, and it's one of those where he's run up the middle and those linebackers are converged, but he's still getting 4 or 5 yards a carry. It's going to be interesting to see, and it's going to be interesting to see how well these teams now hold on to the football, because we saw miscues and the rain starts to pick up a little bit.
Leading rusher in the first half for Catholic was Gibson. Passing-wise, Carter had 2 receptions for 26 yards, but that doesn't necessarily tell the whole story. He was also able to get a pass interference call there as the rain starts to fall a little bit harder and more intensity. Carmichael had a big 26-yard reception for Catholic in the first half. Butler had the 4-yard touchdown right before the half. Carmichael's reception down at the 4-yard line set that up. So Catholic was able to move the football through the air. We saw really a lot of that last year with a lot of spread stuff when they came down here for T.R. Miller. And here in the first half, we've seen a steady dose of Gibson on the ground with the football up until that last possession. And
a lot of that goes back to what we talked about, Blackwell's pedigree, the coaches he's been under, the school he's been at. Jimmy Perry is a run-heavy head coach. He was at Lee High School. He was at St. Paul's. He still is at St. James. So Blackwell came under that system, played in that system. So that, that's one of those things that never really leaves you. It's kind of like, Mike Battles with that Notre Dame box. That's something he's used for years. He's not just going to abandon it. But it's going to be interesting to see, especially now with the rain coming down a little bit, what Blackwell's got up his sleeve, if he's going to chew the clock up. But, again, if you chew the clock up, you got to get points out of it. You can't chew the clock up and then give Tallassee the football back.
So Catholic will receive the kickoff. They'll be going left to right here, headed towards the south side of the stadium. No wind at all at the moment. Flags are standing still. That was not the case in the pregame. The orange flags on top of the goalpost not moving at all. The American flag off to our right not moving at all. As Tallassee will get ready to kick it off here. Looks like Catholic expecting some sort of onside kick or squib kick at the moment as Tallassee huddle up for the moment here.
And that's what Tallassee did on their first kickoff after the score. I don't know if it was a missed kick or if it was actually an intended squib, but that's where it went. And if you're Catholic, you got a coach, a very seasoned coach over there on the other side. So you never know what he's going to pull out.
Gibson back deep with Watley for the Knights, 2 running backs. And the third quarter here on the Sturmatech Pest Control Game of the Week is now underway. They'll kick it deep. And Watley had his knee down when he caught the football. Unfortunate for him. They're going to mark him back inside the 10-yard line, so Catholic's going to start in a deep hole here. Not anything he did, just did. He had to bend over to catch the football, and his knee hit the ground, unfortunately.
It's one of those. As soon as he went down, I was trying to see if there was a little bit of space between, but the officials are right on top of it. That's one of those you're either going to have to judge by the speed that's coming at you and let it go. But he wanted to make a play. Instead of coming up and taking a step to try to catch it off his chest like you're taught, he reached down and tried to catch it as low as he could where he was standing.
And with the rain, that's a safe play to catch the football. Right. Who knows what would have happened there if it hits the ground, it hits him, or bounces around. So 1st and 10 for the Knights. They're going to go shotgun here. 2 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far side. Ivy's going to hand this off Gibson. He's going to cut it up, work his way out to about the 10-yard line. A nice gain of 4 yards there on first down.
He picks up 4, but he ran the play that was called. Instead of making the cut, he had a lane. As soon as he came around the tackle on that right side, he had a lane, and he could have run for days up that lane, but he ran the play instead of cutting up in the hole.
I'm not going to lie. I think I could have got through that hole that time. There was such good blocking there. So 2nd down and 6 for the Knights. This time they'll come out with Watley and Gibson in the backfield. Ivy's going to run the option to the left. He keeps it, now cuts it up across the 10 and falls forward out near the 15-yard line. There's a flag on the far side there, over there at the 10-yard line.
Only one thing you can call over there, that's got to be holding because of the way that play got strung out.
So it'll go against the Knights. No doubt Tallassee will take that penalty and march them back here. First half, we saw first quarter, Catholic had 4 penalties for 25 yards. 3 of those were jumping off sides. No flags in the second quarter for Catholic, so they kind of got that jumping off sides cleaned up there. And the new rule here, which we haven't seen coming into effect, the 40-second play clock. The clocks are not working. We're not very sure the reason for that. The 40 was on the scoreboard, or on the play clock, before the game. But they have not been run. As you said, the back judge is keeping that. But that has not been an issue here for either side at this point. We've had a pretty good pace to the game. So the penalty's going to move back to the 5. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 11 as we're just into the first minute here in the third quarter for the Knights. As they break the huddle, they're going to go again with Watley and Ivy in the backfield. Ivy calling the signals. Gibson is going to get it. Has a nice hole there as he falls forward out to about the 15-yard line. It's close to a first down. They'll bring up maybe 3rd down and about 1.
These two lines, Catholic's offensive line, Tallassee's offensive line, have done a heck of a job against those defensive fronts. And at that time, the Catholic offense was just able to open up a hole. And Gibson found it, did a good job also of cradling the football as he hit the middle of the line to not lose it.
3rd and 1 at the 15. Ivy looks to the sideline to get the play call. Gibson gets it, works that left side. I don't know, it's going to be close. It's going to depend on the spot. He looks like he got it. Depends on the far side. They're going to stop the clock. That's going to signal first down, it looks like, for the Knights.
He got a good right foot, a good left foot spot that time. It was dependent left foot, right foot spot, which one the official decided to use, because they went up the middle and Tallassee that was going to have nothing to do with it.
So clock stopped momentarily. Now moves under 10 minutes here in the third quarter. Catholic 14, Tallassee 7. This time they're going to go through 2 receivers to the left with a slot back. Gibson offset to the right. They're going to swing it out here. Nice catch by Watley. He's going to move forward out to about the 24-yard line, so the play's going to pick up about 6 or 7 on first down.
And that's just the speed of Catholic to get outside. The defender for Tallassee was standing right there. That's just that speed that we talked about earlier with Catholic. They were able to use it, beat the first defender, get to that second wave, and picked up a good chunk of yardage.
Watley's second reception tonight. He has 2 catches now for 19 yards. Bring up 2nd down and about 3 from the Catholic 24. Ivy's going to look to put it up in the air again. Goes over here to the far side, and it goes off the receiver's hands, incomplete. Looked like Butler tried to make a move before he caught the football.
Not a bad play call from Montgomery Catholic that time, because now you're still in a manageable 3rd down. It's 3rd and 2. You could have got a first down if he catches the football, but a good call. You'll see a lot of that a lot of times from head coaches and offensive coordinators. 2nd and short, they'll make a play call like that just because they know they've got something else ready.
So 3rd down and short here for the Knights. Clock stopped momentarily. 8:59 left third quarter as we still have rain falling here on the east side of Montgomery. Ivy comes all the way to the sideline to get the play this time. He's going to have to hurry. He runs back to the huddle. On this first week of the 2019 season here. Gibson spins out of a tackle. He's going to have a first down. He races across the 40, breaks it out to the left, still moving. Dodges another tackle as he crosses midfield into Tallassee territory at the 46-yard line as he picks up 25, 28 yards on the play and a first down.
And again, that's just you get to that second wave, and then it becomes man on man, and Gibson's just able to use it, and he used the umpire also as a screen. As you see that replay going through.
Yeah, Matt Matthews protecting the AlabamaWorkers.com replay there. Gibson spinning his way to a big gain and a first down for the Knights. Now they're going to run option to the near side. Ivy keeps it. He has some room across the 45. Has it across the 40. First down as he goes out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Nice run by Ivy as he picks up 12 yards.
And that's why they go to the triple option. Coach Blackwell said, why take the ball out of your best player's hands, your quarterback and your running back? Try to keep it in their hands as much as possible. And Ivy's just like a running back. He grew up in this system at Catholic. He's grown up around the program. He knows what it takes. And it's going to be one of those things, if they get this offense going, they're going to create a lot of problems in region play.
Now they're Catholic in the spread. 2 receivers to each side. Gives an offset to the left. Watley comes in motion. He's going to get the handoff. Has some blocking out here. Steps outside across the third. Excuse me, that's Carter on the carry. Carter works his way down to another close to another first down at the 25-yard line.
Great block out here on the edge, and he allowed, with the new rule in play, you've got to let the defender turn around. You can't use that blindside block anymore. Catholic did a good job of letting him turn first, and then made the block, and that freed Watley up for about another 4 or 5 yards.
So second down, and we'll call it 1 from the 26-yard line. Again, they'll stay in the spread here. Watley goes in motion to the left. He's going to get the handoff this time. Cuts it up. Not much there, but he's going to have enough for the first down on the 2-yard run.
And now as this game progresses, you see what Coach Blackwell was talking about. They're going to go to that triple option, but it's going to be more of a spread look. So really when you go to the spread, there's no changes. You just clear that one running back out, put him out, bring him in motion. You still have that effect of that triple option. And right now they got Tallassee on their heels. Tallassee doesn't know what to do.
So 1st and 10, that's the 5th first down on this drive for the Knights as the ball rests on the just inside the 25. Option near side. Ivy pitches at the last second. Gibson gets it. Boy, he has some blocking out there. Inside the 15, down to the 14. He's going to have another first down, it looks like, or be very close to it. Good blocking that time out there on the near side by Carter, who's wide receiver.
Easy transition. You go from the spread with the one back in the backfield. You run a reverse inside, and then you go right back to that triple option and bring it right. And then what happens as soon as you do it? Tallassee calls a timeout.
So we have a timeout taken by Tallassee. We're going to keep it right here for the moment. So an impressive drive here by Catholic after the kickoff. It's kind of muffed back there at the 6-yard line. And everybody seems to be getting on what they're running here. Ivy's keeping his hand off to his receivers. Gibson's going up the middle. Yeah, they got a lot happening here on this drive.
It's a good mix of run, pass. It's a good mix of spread, triple option, running the inside seam, running the zone play, running the stretch, able to free his receiver up. Down on the left side, able to drop a short pass in. Good mix by Coach Blackwell. Coach Battle is on defense. They've got to figure something out because not just a good drive, but they've almost used 5 minutes.
Yeah, we saw Tallassee eat up 8 minutes on their scoring drive in the first half, which was about a 60-yard drive after the exchange of possessions. This one, Catholic started back on about their own 6-yard line here, so they moved now into the red zone down to just inside of 15. The last play they gained 9 yards, so it's going to be 2nd down and 1. Might be a chance here to take another shot to the end zone here to one of their big-time playmakers at the wide receiver position.
2nd and 1, you've got Tallassee coming out of a timeout, not really expecting anything because you've got such a good mix. And you got your 2 tall receivers, especially you got man-to-man coverage out there on the left. This is when I would take the shot if the safety doesn't rotate over the top.
Butler off to the left, Carter at the bottom of screen number 2 to the right. Ivy, though, is going to take the option. Boy, he has some room over there on the left side. Good blocking from his receiver. Ivy cuts it up, and he's in for the touchdown. 15-yard run for Ivy to put Catholic on the board, 20-7. Nice run that time by the quarterback on the option.
Ivy had plenty of options out there to the left. If they elected to pass the football, it was man-on-man again. Instead, Coach Blackwell calls the option, allows him to get out there, and Butler with a great block on the edge. And that's what sealed the whole thing, and Ivy able to walk into the end zone.
Love to see receivers blocking downfield as a coach, and they've gotten a lot of production out of Carter and Butler on this drive. As Papanastos, no, check that. That is going to be, they switched up kickers. They're going to be Russo, on to attempt the extra point. Good snap and spot. And his kick is true. So our new score, 7:26 left, 3rd quarter. It is Catholic 21, Tallassee 7 here on the Sturmatech Pest Control Game of the Week. And Catholic, the last quarter and a half, has really seized control of this football game.
And they really have, and that's what we talked about coming out of the break is what they were going to do offensively. And they just put Tallassee on their heels. Coach Blackwell did a great job mixing the play calling up, run, pass, run, pass, triple option spread. And that last play, Tallassee's expecting pass. You could tell they were, but they rotated the safety up. Once they rotated the safety up, Catholic was able to pin him. Then it became one-on-one outside, and they got the great block downfield by the receiver.
So a 4-minute, 34-second drive that goes 94 yards for the Knights. And they have scored on their last 3 possessions to get our total right now 21-7 in favor of Catholic. Russo to kick it off here for the Knights. Smith, the deepest of the return men for the moment for Tallassee, back there along with Daniels and Carr. Russo's kick is away. Carr camps under at the 10-yard line. He's going to work back to the right and gets across the 20 out to the 23. A nice job of coverage that time again by Catholic.
And that was one of those that Russo looked down the field. You could tell because he mixed his steps up. They're not wanting to kick it deep after that last kickoff return from Tallassee. So Pushton was able to get his defense down. Now it's going to be interesting to see how Tallassee answers. We talked about that offensive line from Montgomery Catholic. Talked about Tallassee a little bit. This Tallassee offensive line has kept Montgomery Catholic off balance as well. Let's see what they do on this drive.
So Ellis, the freshman quarterback, comes out. Has Smith in the backfield with him. And Smith's going to get it and try to work the right side. Has some room out there across the 25. Out near the first down marker. Picked up about 9 on first down. Nice run that time for Smith.
And this is a chance now for Tallassee to mix some things up. They've been running a lot of Notre Dame box, been running a lot of I. You're down 2 touchdowns, so now that freshman quarterback's going to have to really come into play and really control this offense. And they go right to him, and he turns and hands it off and able to pick up 9 yards. But they're going to have to throw the football at some point.
So second down and 1. Ball resting on the 32-yard line. Ellis again works out of the shotgun. They're going to hand it off on a speed sweep here. And Catholic has his defense out there as Daniels is not able to get anywhere. In fact, he's going to lose about 4 or 5 yards on the play, bringing up third down for the Tigers.
Catholic did a good job of stringing that play out all the way to the sideline, had a safety come up and make a play. If I'm not mistaken, that might be Mr. Downs that makes that play. But they just string it out. He gets stiffed arm but hangs on to the uniform the entire time and is able to pull him down for no gain.
So third down now and about 5 for the Tigers. They'll stay in the shotgun. Smith all set to the right. Ellis fakes the handoff, rolls right. He's under heavy pressure. And this time Catholic's going to drop him for a loss on play. It's going to bring up fourth down. A nice job by the Catholic defense. And we have a heat timeout here with 5:50 remaining in the third quarter. So we're going to take a quick timeout here with the players. It's 21-7 Catholic. You're watching the Montgomery Sports Network.
Extermatech Pest Control is a small, passionate, and powerful team. If you have bugs bugging you, join the Extermatech family and have peace of mind that comes from the expertise of a professional company and enjoy their personal service. Extermatech is locally owned and operated. They've been bugging the competition for over 15 years. Each and every customer is important to them. Customer service, their number one goal. Call Extermatech 334-209-4590.
97.9 Jams, the new home of the Ricky Smiley Morning Show.
Hey, what up? This is your boy Ricky Smiley from the Ricky Smiley Morning Show on my new home, Montgomery, the Gump. ASU, what's up?
Throwback Quickie Mix at noon, the live drive at 5, and top 5 at 9. Your favorite jams are on now. Drake, Rihanna, T.I., Nicki Minaj, Chris Brown, and Beyonce are all at 979jams.com. And on your radio at 97.9. Tune in and turn up 97.9 Jams.
So fourth down, Lanier punts it for Tallassee. Downs going to play it off the bounce, try to work the near side here. Stiff arms one defender, gets across midfield, so a nice play by Downs to pick up the football, and he gets about 10 yards on the return.
Good return that time, and a lot of times you see guys, when they'll pick it up on a bounce, it catches the other team off guard, but Catholic's got great field position now to start this next drive. They can put this game away here in the third quarter before we even get to the fourth.
5:29 left, and it's Catholic ahead by 14 as Christian Ivey will bring his offense back out here with the football resting in Tallassee territory at the 49-yard line. And it's going to be Gibson and Watley in the backfield here for the Knights. Carter goes in motion. They're going to hand off to Gibson. He works left side. Kind of tripped up there over his own feet after a short gain of about 2 or 3.
outran himself that time trying to get to the line. He saw an opening, tried to get to it. Feet just came out from under him. Again, it goes back to what we talked about pregame weather-wise, all that rain in the pregame, and now this rain here, this turf. As the game goes on, this turf's just going to keep getting wet and wet.
Clock moves under 5 minutes now here in the third quarter with Catholic in control. Tallassee led 7-0 early in the second quarter, and we've had 3 consecutive scores by the Knights. This time they'll go more of the spread look here, 2 receivers to each side. Carter comes in motion, they fake it to him. Ivy looking deep, looking for Watley down the middle of the field. He dumped ball, and it's knocked away by the Tallassee defender there at the last second. That was going to be number 3 for Tallassee making the play. That was Jalen Daniels, and he's down on the ground here for the moment as the training staff's going to have to come out and check on him.
And that's just one of those plays. Ivy threw it up. It was, Montgomery Catholic's best athlete on the field, Tallassee's best athlete on the field. They just made a play.
So we're going to take a timeout here. Our score 21-7. It is Catholic in control here on the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week.
Experience the history of the first country music superstar and see how Hank Williams transformed country music and sowed the seeds of what was to become American music. Visit the Hank Williams Museum, nestled in historic downtown Montgomery, Alabama. The Hank Williams Museum is one of the top tourist attractions in Alabama. Museum hours are 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, 10 to 4 on Saturday, and 1 to 4 on Sunday. And they offer group rates, AAA, and military discounts.
Montgomery's best country is on Bama Country 98.9 WBAM. Bama Country with Bubba and Christy every weekday morning 5:30 to 10 a.m. Bama Country, playing today's best country and all the country legends. Bama Country 98.9 WBAM. Listen to Bama Country 98.9 WBAM.
Third down and 8 for Catholic as Daniels was able to get off the field. Looked like a cramp there during the timeout. Gibson gets it, works right side. Nice job by the Tallassee defense there to stand him up. It was number 32, Carr, staying at home on his defensive end position, making a play, and it's fourth down and in the punting situation for the Knights.
And that's just one of those, if you're Aubrey Blackwell, do you take a chance again and throw it? He probably could have with the substitution in the back in that defensive backfield, but he elected to run and protect the football. You don't want to have a turnover, but Tallassee's defense held strong. They did what they needed to do. Now the offense needs to get in and get a quick score.
So fourth down punting situation here. As going back deep for Tallassee will be Napoleon Foster Reed. Clock moves under 4 minutes now, down to 3:50. Well, he can run that if he wants to. Now punt at the last second, allows his coverage to get down there. Beautiful punt, beautiful roll down inside the 8-yard line. So Catholic's going to have to play field position here. About a 40-yard punt, no return. But Tallassee's going to start inside their own 10-yard line.
That was an interesting formation on that punt. You only had 3 guys really on the interior line. Then you had 2 wide out on each side. Then 3 playing the protector. And there was plenty of running room. And I think that's why they may do it, because now he may have just found a way he can fake a punt later. But Tallassee's offense now is backed up. And let's see what they do with Ellis at quarterback.
So 3:37 left, third quarter. Tallassee down 21-7. And their freshman quarterback, Ellis, going to come out. They're going to go back to the I this time with Williams and Smith dotting the I for the Tigers. Smith's going to get it, work that right side. And not much happening that time as he goes over right guard for a minimal gain on first down.
The thing I've noticed with Tallassee, when Ellis is in, he's a game manager right now at such a young age. It's not a bad thing, but at some point the coaches are going to have to trust him. They rolled him out a couple of times. He was able to pick up some yards running the football. But kind of like Christian Ivey, when he rolled out the one time and completed a 10-yard pass, something that they may have to try with Ellis just to give him some confidence. I think one completion will help.
2nd and 9 on the 9 for the Tigers. They're going to toss this one back. Smith trying to get the corner. Some nice pursuit out there by Catholic, and the play's going to lose yardage on second down. as the Catholic defense is able to string it out to the sideline and bring up 3rd down and 10 as we move towards 2.5 minutes here remaining in the third quarter.
It's almost like the Knights are basically daring Tallassee to throw the football. They're loading the box. They've got 2 guys back, but they're loading the box and daring them to throw the football. If Tallassee can just get somebody open and just let Ellis just throw one, and this is a perfect opportunity. 3rd and 10, worst thing could happen, you throw an interception and you go 4th down.
Ellis hands it off to his fullback. They try to sneak Williams up the middle. Play may gain 2 yards, maybe a yard, that's it. And it's going to be 4th down, and Tallassee's going to have to punt again as we go into 2 minutes left in the third quarter.
It's just one of those situations, roll him out. Like we said, roll him out. Let him just attempt one pass. Even if it's a 5-yard completion. A 5-yard completion with a kid this young playing quarterback will go a long way, not only tonight but for the rest of the year. They've got a tough schedule, 3 straight games on the road.
And it's it may be one of those old school UC teams just when they had freshman quarterbacks in college just run 1-man or 2-man routes sometimes and try to protect as much as possible. Kick is away. Nice kick out of the zone end zone, getting across the 40-yard line. That's going to roll out towards midfield, so it's going to be about a 39-yard punt on the roll. So good job that time by Lanier for Tallassee, and it'll be 1st and 10 for Catholic as they have good field position again.
Right where they were when they punted the ball to Tallassee, who just punted the ball right where they had possession on their punt. But again, this is it's a game of confidence right now for Tallassee. If you're Coach Battles, you still got a little over 13 minutes left in this game. You want your guys to will themselves and stay in the game because it becomes a pride thing now because, hey, we got to play next week, and then we got to go and play Greenville again the next week after that on the road again. So it's one of those things you just have to get confidence.
Extremely tough schedule here to start the season for the Tigers. As we're going to get a handoff here, and that looks like it's going to be Ivy keeping it. Check that. He pulled it, and he's across the 40. Had me fooled, had the defense fooled too as he rolls inside the 30. A gain of 19 and a 1st down for the Knights.
Again, they fake that ball up the middle, and Ivy, when he comes out and with the option, you'll see that ball pop out for a second like he's going to pitch it. Then he tucks it in, and with those dark uniforms, it's hard to tell if he's pitched the football or if he's still got it if you're a defender. And he takes it and just finds a hole and just takes off down the field.
So under a minute here to go in the third quarter. Catholic on the move again as Watley and Gibson in the backfield with Ivy. Ivy's going to hand it off. Watley cuts it back out left, gets some block in there. He's inside the 20. Another big block. He's going to roll down the sideline in the end zone for the touchdown for the Knights from 29 yards out.
2 big blocks on that play. Chase Little got his man that was about to make a play, put him down on the ground at the hash mark, and then again, a receiver blocking down the field for Montgomery Catholic. And you talked about it. That's probably the best play in college football when a receiver blocks downfield.
So, big score for Catholic. Papanastos on to attempt the extra point here in the final minute as Catholic has a 3-score lead here on the Tigers. Almost a reversal at this point of what we saw last year in Tallassee when the Tigers won 28-7 against Catholic. Snap, spot, kick is up, and it is good. So our new score, 34 seconds left, third quarter. It is Catholic 28, Tallassee 7. And that replay on the touchdown run is brought to you by Matt Matthews, ProtectingAlabamaWorkers.com, as Watley takes it in down the sideline from 29 yards out. So he becomes his longest run of the night. Watley's only had it technically twice on the ground. He's called a couple passes out of the backfield. But the speed there and the vision by these running backs is just, off the charts here for Catholic.
They get good blocks, good seal blocks from the tackles, and then you get receivers downfield blocking. It makes a fast guy look faster when you're able to pin those guys and you can't get them. I'd be remiss if I didn't say this because this is something Coach Blackwell talked about, and he made sure we wanted to talk about it. He's got guys back on his sideline that are alumni, but he's got 13 guys playing college football right now. He said that's what shifted the culture at Montgomery Catholic, and you can tell by the score.
So 28-7, the Knights lead it. Last year's game, Tallassee won 28-7 over at Hot O'Brien Stadium. So reversal of that score at the moment. As Russo will get ready to kick it off here for the Knights. Again, Smith back deep for Tallassee. And Smith's got to camp under it just inside the 10-yard line. Works his way across the 20, has some room up the middle. It breaks loose for him, he's across the 40. And the kicker's going to have to make a tackle right in midfield to save a potential touchdown.
Good blocking by Tallassee that time on that kick return. They found the seam, he hit it hard. That's what you teach your return guys. You catch it, let the guy in front of you make the first block.
So once again, that replay brought to you by ProtectingAlabamaWorkers.com. Matt Matthews on the big kickoff return there by Smith for the Tigers. So it's going to be 1st and 10, 24 seconds left, third quarter. They'll go back to the I formation here. And obviously going to look to throw. Throwing it down the sideline. It has a receiver over there on the far side. Complete down to the 30-yard line. That is going to be number 16 on the far side for Tallassee. That is going to be Lanier. Nice throw and catch. And you called it just a quick drop and a throw.
3-step drop. Been waiting on it all night. You've got to give the kids some confidence. You can't just keep handing the football off. At some point, you got to put the ball in your quarterback's hand and say, I got to see what you can do. We got 2 more road games, and we start region play in 2 weeks. I got to find out what you can do, and down 21 is a good time to do it.
So that play will take us to the end of the third quarter. Our score here on the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week, it's Montgomery Catholic 28 and Tallassee 7. You're watching the Montgomery Sports Network.
Extermatech Pest Control is a small, passionate, and powerful team. If you have bugs bugging you, join the Extermatech family and have peace of mind that comes from the expertise of a professional company and enjoy their personal service. Extermatech is locally owned and operated. They've been bugging the competition for over 15 years. Each and every customer is important to them. Customer service, their number one goal. Call Extermatech 334-209-4590.
Montgomery's best country is on Bama Country 98.9 WBAM. Bama Country with Bubba and Christy every weekday morning 5:30 to 10 a.m. Bama Country playing today's best country and all the country legends. Bama Country 98.9 WBAM. Listen to Bama Country 98.9 WBAM.
And welcome back to the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week. We start the fourth quarter here on week number 1 with Tallassee on the move. 1st and 10 at the Catholic 30-yard line. Ellis under center. He's going to look to throw it again here to the near side. He throws it out here to Justice. He makes an adjustment on the football. It goes incomplete down at the 15-yard line. But getting back to the point you were making earlier, trying to get some confidence in Ellis. He's just little quick 3-step drops, just a simple read. But he's putting his receivers in position to make a play.
3-step drops are the best thing you could do for a football player, especially, with a young quarterback. And Catholic didn't even see that one that time. They were just making a play on the defender. They didn't even see the football in the air.
So 2nd and 10 for the Tigers. Battles comes down here to the near side. Justice in the slot to the far side on the left. Ellis going to throw it out there to Justice on the little quick screen. And Catholic's defense is all over at that time. Bringing up a 3rd down and long situation for Tallassee. Justice was the leading returning receiver for Tallassee, and that play lost 2 yards there, so it's 3rd down and about 12.
If you're Tallassee, though, this game's a 21-point game. You keep doing what you're doing with the young quarterback. Even if that play loses, too, he had more zip on that pass than he has on the other two. The other two were kind of just drop-back fade passes. That was actually a pass that was a designed pass that he had to wait on his receiver to make to turn around and catch the football.
So 3rd down and 12. They're going to look to throw out here. Screen pass. Smith makes a grab. He's going to outrun the defender to the near side here across the 30. And a nice open field tackle that time by Downs down at the 26-yard line.
And again, but a play action on a 3rd and long. Really not going to fool the defense. Gives him a little confidence in the backfield, but a good job by Catholic defensively to stay at home and not fall for the play action. And Tallassee just tried to use their speed that time to get outside, but they found out very quickly Catholic's got speed on the edge as well.
So play gain 6, 4th down and 6. Tallassee's going to go for here on 4th down as we got 10.5 minutes left in the game. And now we have a timeout taken by Tallassee, so we'll keep it right here. But go back to your point about Ellis. You got to find out what you have to work with. They have big games coming up down the stretch here. They got Greenville in 2 weeks, the defending region champs, and they're both on the road.
If you go into Greenville and you haven't tested your quarterback out at all, that's going to be a tough road to hoe, especially against a team like Greenville that just reloads every year. But for Tallassee in this situation, yeah, the game might be over on the scoreboard, but this is the first week of the year. It's a non-region game. It doesn't really matter if you drop this one. It does if it's a win-loss record, but at the end of the day, region games are the ones that count. And for Tallassee, they've got to find out what they have through the first 2 games.
So 4th down and 6, 26-yard line for the Tigers as they come out of their timeout. They have 1 timeout remaining. Catholic has all 3 still. And it's going to be battles coming here to the near side, number 88 at the bottom of the screen. Looks like Justice and Daniels up to the left. And Smith in the backfield with Ellis. Now Ellis going to roll to the left. Oh, he's under heavy pressure immediately. He's going to be dropped behind the line. And a nice job by the Catholic defensive line.
But again, when you start to use your quarterback passing the football, you've got to mix in a run because all Catholic did was sit on it. Coach Johnson, the defensive coordinator, called blitz, and they just ran right through everybody from Tallassee. They're doing a good job now getting Ellis involved, but you got to mix in a run or 2.
So that replay brought to you by Matt Matthews, protecting AlabamaWorkers.com with the sack there. So we change of possession. Catholic will take over. 10:26 remaining. Now it looks like maybe a very slight drizzle at most right now here in the 4th quarter. As Catholic will try to salt this game away here.
The humidity now, it feels like it's getting a lot muggy again. Yeah. Like we're back in the afternoon hours at what, 9 o'clock at night?
Yeah, I hadn't sweated all night, but it's starting to, brow up on my forehead here, but I don't have any hair to protect me, so those things happen sometimes. But first down handoff for Catholic. Looks like it's going to be Watley. There's a flag on the play there. That's going to come back for holding, it looks like, on Catholic, and that's the signal from the head official.
Sometimes when you see a runner take off and picks up about 15 yards, that's the first thing you do is you look in the backfield to make sure everything went, but that flag flew immediately. It was a great play call by Montgomery Catholic. We'll give that, and they got Tallassee. We told you they had them on their heels, and that was just one of those things where an offensive lineman just gets a little overzealous, maybe grabs the uniform, puts his hand on the back, and that's the biggest thing. They see that hand go to the back of the jersey, and that's the first call.
So first down and about 20 here for the Knights. This time, coming to the near side here, it's going to be Gibson. He stood up by the Tallassee defense. A nice job that time by the Tigers. Actually got no gain on the play. Bring up second down, or actually going to lose one. It's going to be second down and 21 for the Knights.
Stretch that play a little bit out, did Tallassee, and they kept the offensive linemen engaged to keep them where they could. That way, when Gibson got out there, he was able to be easily corralled because he had nowhere to go because the offensive lineman had blocked the entire sideline up.
Number 2, Griffin, to make the play that time for the Tigers. Bring up second down and 21. Ivy going to look to put it up in the air, rolls to the right. He's going to try to throw back a screen over here. There's another flag in the area of offensive holding as he throws that one out of bounds. 2 flags, actually. Looked like they were going to try to set something up over here to Butler on the backside, but Tallassee's outside linebacker, Griffin, was just hanging out there with the lineman and the receiver.
I think there may be 2 different calls here. You may have holding, and because he went to the opposite side, an eligible man downfield because you had an offensive lineman standing at about the 20, 21-yard line.
So now the question becomes, does Coach Battles want to take it and push him back further, or just settle for 3rd and 21? Head official goes over there to get the instructions from Coach Battles. He's going to come back and tell us what the decision is here. We need to get a microphone down there. There's going to be an eligible man downfield. We have holding. You were correct. Both penalties declined. Third down for the Knights.
Coachable moment, sitting here watching the offensive lineman that was downfield. Coach Blackwell talking to him the whole time he's on the sideline. Good teachable moment, especially week one.
So 3rd and 20, 2 receivers to each side here. Spread look. And Ivy's going to run a delay draw to Gibson. Gibson trying to get to the near side here. He slips and falls, but Tallassee had him in their grasp. It'll bring a 4th down in a punting situation for Catholic.
And what we talked about earlier, now that playing surface becomes key. Wiley slipped, had his feet come out from under him, and took a big chunk of sod out. And Christian Ivy not happy at all with what just happened. He's slinging his chin strap off, walking to the sideline. I think he wanted a different play call, it looks like, because he goes straight to Coach Blackwell.
Yeah, they want to throw it up there, but right now you want to burn clock, too, and get this game over with the way the field is. As it's 4th down, and Russo on the punt. And back deep will be number 7 for Tallassee. That's going to be Foster Reed. And that kick's not going to be returnable, but it gets a friendly roll. And it's going to be dropped at about the 40-yard line. So a 40-yard punt here for the Catholic as they flip the field a little bit. Tallassee start out on their own 41, 8:17 left here for the Tigers.
I don't think Russo, that's what he wanted to do, because Tallassee blew up the backs and that were back there with him, so he had to get rid of it quick. He started to roll to his right, and all of a sudden the blockers were just blown up by Tallassee. A couple of players were able to get back there and force Russo to kick it earlier.
So 1st and 10 for the Tigers. Ellis going to work shotgun with Smith offset to his left. Ellis going to throw it out there to the far side. It's caught. Looks like Daniels has the reception. He's going to move across the 45 to the 46 for 5 yards on 1st down.
Good play call by Coach Battles, getting his quarterback going again. A quick screen out to his receiver. Had a couple blockers in front of him. It's a 1-yard pass by your quarterback, but it turns into a 5-6 yard gain. The big thing is the confidence level. You're completing a pass and then letting your receiver make a play.
Clock moves under 8 minutes, 28-7. Catholic leads it here on the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week. The Tallassee receivers flipping around. Griffin's in the slot. Daniels is here at the bottom of the screen. Battles goes off to the left. Ellis looks to throw. Pump fakes now. He's going to be dropped back behind the line that time by the Catholic defense. Huge loss on the play. It's going to be number 9 for the Knights making the tackle. That was Patrick Ryan. Bring up 3rd and long for Tallassee.
Ryan, another one of those returning linebackers. He and Dudley both were in the backfield. Not really sure blitz was called from both sides. It looked like one side of the Tallassee line dove in to block that defensive tackle for Catholic, and when they did, that allowed Dudley to get in. But Ryan came from that backside and was able to make the play.
So 3rd down and 16 for the Tigers. Griffin comes out here on the slot receiver. 2 receivers to each side. Ellis looks, going over here to the near side, looking for Justice, and it's knocked away at the last second by the Catholic defense. Number 15 getting his hands in there for the Knights. That was Jonathan Roden knocking it away at the last second.
That's just what you teach your defensive backs. You teach your defensive backs, watch the receiver's eyes. If you're not watching the ball, watch the receiver's eyes, because that's where you know the ball is coming. Make a play with your hands, exactly what Roden did.
So 4th down, Tallassee going to have to punt it again, as Dalton Lanier goes back to punt it, and Downs is back to receive, return it for the Knights. 6:40 left, fourth quarter. As the rain starts to fall a little heavier here. And Lanier's kick comes off the side of the foot here. It's just laying there. And wisely. Downs is going to fall on it right there. He's thinking about picking that up. He had a little room there if he got up there a little step or two quicker.
He waited a little too late for me to pick that football up, especially with Tallassee bearing down on him the way they were.
So 6:31 left in this contest as we see Christian Ivy come back out here with the offense with Gibson and Watley. As the rain continues to fall, Catholic leads 28-7, which is kind of flipped the script from last year's game where Tallassee won 28-7 in Tallassee. So 1st and 10 at the 42. Carter goes in motion, and they're going to hand off late there to Watley, and he is dropped quickly because he crosses the 45-yard line after a pick up about 3 or 4 yards on the play. Nice tackle that time by Webster for Tallassee.
Got a flag thrown in. 2 players, 1 from each team in that interior line. I guess didn't like what happened. And that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a double unsportsmanlike conduct. But for Watley, he's really stopped for about a 1.5, 2-yard gain. And the defensive lineman from Tallassee is getting blocked out of the play, turns and tackles him. But when he tackles him, he pushes him the wrong way. So it turns into about a 4-yard gain.
So 4 yards on the gain. So it'll be 2nd down to 6. After this play, we'll probably have our last heat timeout as the rain starts to fall harder here in East Montgomery. Option to the right. Ivy keeps it. And he's going to pick up maybe a yard on the play. And we have a heat timeout with 5:38 remaining here. So we're going to take it with them. Our score here in the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week is Catholic 28 and Tallassee 7.
Extermatech Pest Control is a small, passionate, and powerful team. If you have bugs bugging you, join the Extermatech family and have peace of mind that comes from the expertise of a professional company and enjoy their personal service. Extermatech is locally owned and operated. They've been bugging the competition for over 15 years. Each and every customer is important to them. Customer service, their #1 goal. Call Extermatech 334-209-4590. Mid-State Burglar Bars and Ironworks Incorporated is a locally owned and operated business in Montgomery, Alabama. And we've been in business since 1985 and served Montgomery and the surrounding counties with burglar bars, ironworks. Our philosophy is being honest, dependable, and treating each customer with respect and selling a quality product at a fair price. If you need burglar bars or ironwork of any kind, call Mid-State Burglar Bars and Ironworks, Montgomery.
Welcome back here to Montgomery Catholic. Kane Young along with Travis Jerome here on the Montgomery Sports Network. It's Catholic 28-7 here in the 4th quarter on a 3rd down and 5 play coming up. Going to hand it off to Gibson, and he is met quickly by the Tallassee defense. #2, Griffin getting in there to make the play, along with #10, Brisky Chapel, and to bring up 4th down for the Knights.
Simple handoff. Going to run the clock down. Tallassee's only got 1 timeout, 21-point game. Coach Blackwell going to manage the clock now. Just give the ball right back to Tallassee, make a stop, get it back, and try to run the clock out.
Yeah, it looks like they may let the play clock run down and then call timeout.
That's what it looks like he's going to do in this situation.
Down to 4:50 and counting now. Rain continues to fall here. A lot of games delayed by rain tonight around the Montgomery area. We've been able to get ours in. If you asked us that question at about 6:15, we were like, who knows? But we started at 7:15 and have played nonstop. With this 40-second play clock, and there's the whistle and the timeout taken by the Knights. The clock stops officially with 4:29 remaining. So we'll keep it right here. But Montgomery Catholic, lofty expectations, high preseason ranking, and I think tonight's performance pretty much shows they're worthy of that recognition here at the start of the season.
Lofty expectations, even loftier from their head coach. He called state championship game. That's where they want to go. Ranked 6th in the state, highest preseason ranking for Montgomery Catholic. And they've come out, and we said that he labeled this as a revenge game because of last year. Took a lot of young guys into that game. Their eyes were real big. He said he took 14 new guys last year that started in that game. This year they're only starting about 4 or 5. So the role reversal has worked. But Blackwell said this was a revenge game, and he had nothing to hide. That's the first thing that we talked about game-wise. He goes, Travis, I'm going to be honest. This is a revenge game. We owe them. We don't feel like we executed very well when we went up there. And because of that, it didn't help us later in the year.
So 4th down and 5 for the Knights. Russo on the punt. And going back deep for Tallassee is number 7. That is going to be Foster Reed. Now they're going to shift the line. And as the center's technically eligible, I don't think they'll fake it. He's going to try to give and there's an infraction. Legal procedure on Catholic.
I will say this. Catholic's going to go to 1-0. Tallassee's going to go to 0-1. The only thing you need to take away from this game, if you're either one of these teams or either one of these coaches, how did we get better for week 2? These games really, if you don't get any better, you could be 1-1, you could be 0-2. It's just all about you got to take things from week 1 moving to week 2.
Rain continues to fall here. Kick is away by Russo, and that's going to go flying out of bounds. It goes up into the stands and bounces about 5 rows deep. Let's see where they mark that one off at. As the side judge over there works his way up. Still walking.
What a time for the Tallassee cheerleaders to be on the front row of the stands cheering with the band.
About a 14-yard punt there. So Tallassee will take it back over. They'll get it on their own 44-yard line after the exchange there. If you told Coach Blackwell that, he probably would have just went for it on 4th and 5.
But again, if you win your first game, that doesn't mean you're going to win a state title. You lose your first game, doesn't mean you're going to win a state title. These are games to teach.
And both teams have their goals out in front of them here, no matter what happens tonight. As far as the season goes, Tallassee wants to get back in. They got a huge region game coming up against Greenville in 2 weeks. Catholic will go on the road next week to Anniston as we have a timeout taken by Tallassee with 4:10 left. So we're going to take we'll take a quick timeout. It's Catholic leading 28-7.
Experience the history of the first country music superstar and see how Hank Williams transformed country music and sowed the seeds of what was to become American music. Visit the Hank Williams Museum, nestled in historic downtown Montgomery, Alabama. The Hank Williams Museum is one of the top tourist attractions in Alabama. Museum hours are 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, 10 to 4 on Saturday, and 1 to 4 on Sunday. And they offer group rates, AAA, and military discounts.
Montgomery's best country is on Bama Country 98.9 WBAM.
Ellis throws here on the far side, complete to Justice as we come out of the timeout. Nice throw and catch there as Justice is able to get behind the defense. Picks up about 20 yards and a first down for the Tigers.
Lost that football going out of bounds. He's lucky it went out of bounds and didn't bounce back in. But again, those are just simple plays for Ellis as a quarterback to get comfortable in the pocket, get comfortable rolling out. He's a freshman. He's never been in the situation where he's had to go play at a high level of football in a 5A versus 4A or next week in a 5A, 5A game.
So 1st and 10, Ellis going to look to throw again, looks left, goes over on the far sideline, and it is going to be caught over there. And looks like battles on the reception, a gain of 5. Clock continue to move as they stayed in bounds, but nice throw and catch there on 5 yards on first down.
Whether he meant to or not, it was a good back shoulder throw to Battles, and Battles is the only one that had a chance to catch that, dove backwards and caught the football. He's looking good. He's looking like he settled down in the pocket, and it may have taken just getting some experience under center.
2nd and 5, 3.5 left. Ellis this time looks right. He's going to hit his back out of the back of the tight end here, and Catholic all over it as number 1, Williams makes the reception. Minimal gain, about 2 yards, 3rd down and about 3.
And again, if you're Tallassee here and you drop back to pass, I'm willing to say that Montgomery Catholic's about to come with a blitz because you've gone pass, and haven't mixed in a run yet.
When this ball snapped, it'll be under 3 minutes left. Daniels and Justice move to the left of the formation. Battles and Smith down here to the right. Ellis looks left, now comes back right, going down the sideline here for Battles, and the end zone is knocked away at the last second. I think it's Downs getting his hands on the football again. They'll bring up 4th down and about 2 for the Tigers.
Montgomery Catholic that time went with just 3 pass rushers. Still was able to get a little bit of pressure, but really nowhere to throw the football for Ellis. And Downs just read it perfectly and made a break on the football.
So 4th down. And it looks like Tallassee some wholesale changes here on 4th down and short. And the Catholic fans, the band here below is making a lot of noise trying to make it difficult for the Tigers on 4th down. They're going to go back to the box here. Smith will get the snap, it looks like. He's going to work to the left this time. Drives forward, a lot of pushing, a lot of shoving. It's going to be close. I think he's going to have the 1st down, though.
I think he got the 1st down. I think that last lunge got him. But, again, the interior on both sides of the football, offensively and defensively for both teams, have really, really played well tonight. And that's a takeaway you could take if you're coaches. They may not grade perfect, but they've really played well on that interior, and they have dictated the pace of this game.
Clock moving under 2.5 to play. 1st and 10 for Tallassee at the Catholic 20. Ellis this time in the backfield by himself. Low snap, looks left, has the pump fake. Now he's going to take it and try to move it, run, pick up some positive yardage, and he gets out of bounds to stop the clock after a short gain of 2 or 3 on the play.
Catholic still with a lot of starters in their own defense, up 21 with 2 minutes to play. They're starting to rotate some guys in and out, but still a lot of starters in there for week 1.
And the rain is coming down heavier, some of the heaviest rain we've had here during the game this evening. At this point, play picked up 3, so 2nd down and about 7 here from the 17 for the Tigers. Again, Ellis will go empty here. Griffin and Daniels off to his left. Smith and Battles to the right. Smith goes in motion. Ellis pulls it. He's going to throw it to Williams. The H-back coming here near side. Has some blocking from Battles, but the Catholic pursuit able to make the play that time is going to be Dudley coming and cleaning up for the Knights.
Good pursuit that time from Catholic. I'm more impressed with the fact that Ellis stayed in the pocket, knew where his receiver was, and waited until he was about to take the hit, which he did take, to dump the ball off.
So 3rd down and 7. Play failed the game. Clock continues to move. 1:40 left in this contest. Ellis looks. Oh, he's on the hill. Oh, the ball is knocked away. It's picked up by Catholic. That is going to be number 9 on the tackle, or on the scoop there, Patrick Ryan, knocking it away, picking up the football. 1st down for Catholic with 1:28 remaining.
And that's just a freshman mistake. Ellis dropped back, dropped the ball below his waist. You drop the ball below your waist, it gives the defense a great opportunity. All Ryan did was reach down. He saw the football, swiped it, and then he looks around for blockers instead of taking off running. If he just takes off running, he might have a chance to score.
Hey, get your name on the paper, right? Or get your highlights on YouTube. Either way, here on the Montgomery Sports Network, mymgmsports.com. So 1:28 left. Catholic will try to run the clock out here. Looks like they're just going to take a knee. Tallassee is out of timeout, so they cannot stop the clock at this point. The victory formation for the Knights will have to snap it a couple times as the rain continues to fall here at East Montgomery. But overall, Catholic, as we mentioned during one timeout, stepping up here, preseason number 6. Impressive victory at home. Tallassee has a lot they can build off, though, here in this game. They had lead midway through the second quarter. Just couldn't finish some drives there, and they had struggled a little bit there right before halftime getting the stop in the 2-minute offense for Catholic.
Tallassee has nothing to hang their head about. You start getting more reps for the freshman quarterback. You saw what he could do here in the second half. Impressed with Catholic both offensively and defensively. I think I'm more impressed with them on offense because they're able to change and run about 2 or 3 different styles of offense.
Yeah, very multiple. That's hard to prepare for. And then what they put on film here tonight. I mean, you're talking about teams. I'll just be honest with you. I mean, if I see a team like Catholic, when I coach football lineup, like to do the punt, that just eats up time at practice. You got to spend on that because there's so much that could happen and so many assignments you just got to take care of.
Anderson's got to have breakdown 4 different punt formations 3 different punt return formations, 3 different styles of offense, and 3 different defenses that Coach Johnson threw out there.
So the clock's going to hit 0-0 here on week 1 of the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week on the Montgomery Sports Network. Our final score tonight, Catholic with an impressive 28-7 victory over Tallassee. We're going to take a timeout here, come back and wrap things up in just a moment.
Extermatech Pest Control is a small, passionate, and powerful team. If you have bugs bugging you, join the Extermatech family and have peace of mind that comes from the expertise of a professional company and enjoy their personal service. Extermatech is locally owned and operated. They've been bugging the competition for over 15 years. Each and every customer is important to them. Customer service, their #1 goal. Call Extermatech 334-209-4590.
Montgomery's best country is on Bama Country 98.9 WBAM. Bama Country with Bubba and Christy every weekday morning 5:30 to 10 a.m. We're gonna have a house party. Bama Country, playing today's best country and all the country legends. Bama Country 98.9 WBAM. Listen to Bama Country 98.9 WBAM.
So our final score tonight here, Catholic 28-7 victors over Tallassee, week 1 here on the Montgomery Sports Network. Wrap things up briefly here. Tallassee jumped out 7-0, controlled the football for a large portion of the first half. Catholic evened it up. They got the big score before halftime and then scored on that opening possession in the third quarter to kind of get the separation they were looking for.
28 unanswered points. You got to be happy with that if you're Aubrey Blackwell and Montgomery Catholic, especially when the weather went south very, very quickly in the second half. But all in all, good performance from Tallassee. Nothing to be ashamed about. Great performance from Montgomery Catholic. I'm sure he's going to tell you there's some things they need to work on as well. But all in all, you got a team that can run several formations offensively, several different defensive formations. If I'm a betting man, which I'm not, I would put some money on Montgomery Catholic to challenge for a state title, even though we're just in week 1.
Yeah, they have go on the road to Anniston next week. We'll see them at least 2 more times here on the Montgomery Sports Network this year as the season goes on. So they are a legitimate threat. And Tallassee, once again, has a lot to build, a lot of things they can work with and build on, and should be able to make it back into the playoffs, which they were not able to last year.
And they do have a lot to build on. You've got a good stable of running backs, good offensive linemen, quarterback. You just need to work with him. Defense is not bad. Some things you need to work on, especially in that back 7, which we thought were going to be the strength. Really ended up the back 2 or 3 is what Catholic picked on in that passing game.
Okay, we're going to take one more quick break here on the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week. Come back and wrap things up for the final time. Once again, our final score, it is Catholic 28 and Tallassee 7.
Extermatech Pest Control is a small, passionate, and powerful team. If you have bugs bugging you, join the Extermatech family and have peace of mind that comes from the expertise of a professional company and enjoy their personal service. Extermatech is locally owned and operated. They've been bugging the competition for over 15 years. Each and every customer is important to them. Customer service, their #1 goal. Call Extermatech 334-209-4590. If you're injured on the job, the law requires your employer to pay your medical expenses and cover your lost wages for any work-related injury. Employers and their insurers often try to deny workers' compensation claims or limit your benefits. Whether you're totally disabled and cannot work, or if you've suffered some impairment, attorney Matt Matthews has years of experience litigating. For more information, go to the website protectingalworkers.com. That's protectingalworkers.com.
I had a dream, a beautiful dream. I couldn't believe how real it seemed. Up on stage, in a field of green, on the winding river, and a song you'll sing. When I wake up, I'll see you here in Montgomery, where dreams come true.
We're not your daddy's rock and roll station. 104.9, The Gump. Montgomery's alternative rock station. 104.9, The Gump. The only radio station in Montgomery playing new rock alternative. 104.9 The Gump. Montgomery's alternative rock station. 104.9 The Gump.
La Zona Rosa Hillwood Mexican Cafe, located on Zelda Road, minutes from downtown Montgomery, is one of the area's finest Mexican restaurants. From our great lunch selection and value to our tablecloth and candle evening atmosphere for dinner, La Zona Rosa has something to offer all connoisseurs of fine Mexican dining. Come on down today and enjoy some great Mexican. La Zona Rosa Hillwood Mexican Cafe on Zelda Road, minutes from downtown. Mid-State Burglar Bars and Ironworks Incorporated is a locally owned and operated business in Montgomery, Alabama. And we've been in business since 1985 and served Montgomery and the surrounding counties with burglar bars, ironworks. Our philosophy is being honest, dependable, and treating each customer with respect and selling a quality product at a fair price. If you need burglar bars or ironwork of any kind, call Mid-State Burglar Bars and Ironworks, Montgomery.
It was 1917. Charlie Chaplin appeared as the Little Tramp, Walt Disney graduated from high school, and Woodrow Wilson was reelected president. And in Montgomery, Chris's sold their very first hot dog. Move forward to the 1950s. Hank Williams was hanging out at Chris's. Up through the 70s and 80s, many stars and politicians discovered Montgomery's little secret. Jump ahead to the new millennium. Riverwalk Stadium, the alleyway, and the new downtown. It's now 100 years later, and Chris's is still serving their world-famous hot dogs at 138 Dexter Avenue. How long has it been since you've tasted the city's most famous hot dog? Make Chris's part of your family history. Still family-owned and operated, Chris's makes every hot dog and hamburger to order. Take Chris's to your next party or event. Call-in orders are welcome. Online at chrishotdogs.com and on Facebook. Chris's Famous Hot Dogs. Taste the tradition.
And welcome back here to Extermitech Pest Control Game of the Week here on the Montgomery Sports Network. We'll take a moment here to thank our sponsors of tonight's broadcast. First, our title sponsor, Extermitech Pest Control, back with us again this year. If you have bugs bugging you, call Extermitech 334-209-4590. The replays tonight were brought to you by the attorney of Matt Matthews, ProtectingAlabamaWorkers.com. If you need the benefits you deserve, visit ProtectingAlabamaWorkers.com or call 334-721-4878. The pregame show was sponsored tonight by the Hank Williams Museum in downtown Montgomery. Groups are always welcome at the Hank Williams Museum. You can visit and learn about Hank Williams and visit the large gift shop, downtown Montgomery, 118 Commerce Street. We'd also like to thank Chris's Famous Hot Dogs for sponsoring us tonight. Call your orders in Chris's in advance, 334-265-6850. You want to be the hero tomorrow night when you're cooking out for that Florida-Miami game. Go down there and get you some sauce, take it to your barbecue tomorrow night or your cookout when you're watching football. We'd also like to thank Mid-State Burglar Bar and Ironworks. They've been working in Montgomery and the surrounding area since 1985. They provide burglar bars, AC guards, handrails, fencing, storm doors, and more. Make sure to check out the decorative handrails, a true work of art. Please call Mid-State at 334-313-9015. We'd also like to thank La Zona Rosa Mexican Cafe, located at 2838 Zelda Road, just a few minutes from downtown Montgomery. It's one of the area's finest Mexican restaurants. They are open Monday through Saturday. Call 334-274-1153 for La Zona Rosa Mexican Cafe. We'd also like to thank Delta Printing and Sign Company, which has been open since 1979 and is still local and family-owned and second-generation business. Let Delta do it. Call them directly at 334-271-COPY. That's 334-271-COPY. We'd also like to thank our media partner, the stations of Blue Water Broadcasting, News Talk 93.1, KISS 97.9, Jams, Bama Country 98.9, Yo 100.5, Classic Country, The Possum 104.9, The Gump, and 107.1 The Vault. They are local folks helping local businesses. Call them today to help your business, 332-244-0961. A big thank you to all our sponsors. We could not do it without you, and we would ask you to please support them here on the Montgomery Sports Network. So we'll wrap things up here. Just talk a moment. A lot of players for Catholic had good things happen. Gibson, Carter, But Christian Ivey really made it go. The game really changed when he got things going with the option and with his passing there late second quarter, early third quarter.
When you switch offense, your quarterback is the biggest component for you, whether he's returning or new, and he really commanded the offense even when they went to the spread. But in the option, he controlled the game. I mean, they kept good pitch ratio between he and the running back, but it was just always that fake that he was able to throw the defenders off, and then he would roll out and hit receivers downfield. He could have very easily thrown for 300 yards tonight if some of the balls weren't dropped. He had a lot of drop balls that he threw, but he controlled the offense, he controlled the tempo, he controlled the team. And you could tell by when he got to the sideline, he's a leader on this football team. If he stays healthy, Montgomery Catholic is going to be one of the teams to challenge later down the road.
So that'll wrap things up tonight here from Montgomery Catholic. Next week we will be up in Prattville Christian Academy, playing host to JU Blackshear. Next Friday, 6:30 here on the Montgomery Sports Network, mymgmsports.com. You can go there, get the highlights from the night's game, and also rewatch this game in its entirety. So once again, we'd like to thank our executive producer, Stephanie House. Our technical director is Tommy House. Stephen Mock is our replay operator. On camera, we have Nathaniel McCall. And in the booth, we have Travis Jerome on color commentary. My name is Kane Young. Once again, our final score tonight from Montgomery Catholic here on the Extermatech Pest Control Game of the Week. It was Catholic 28 and Tallassee 7. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.